boy, it's a miracle from Ben! Superstar. The skipper's got a bag today.
Hello and welcome to the Melbourne Cricket Ground for one of the biggest games on the AFL calendar. Collingwood versus Carlton from the Melbourne Cricket Ground, and it is a beautiful afternoon for football. This is the 234th time that these two teams have met, the most of any two AFL teams. Carlton with 120 wins and Collingwood with 109 wins. They've played 4 draws, these two clubs, and we're expecting somewhere in the vicinity of 80,000 fans here at the MCG this afternoon. Collingwood, well, they won the last 2 encounters between these two clubs, but Carlton, they've got some good form behind them this year as well, as they're about to burst through their banner. And joining me for some commentary this afternoon is some Carlton royalty, a man who coached the Blues to 3 of their flags, David Parkin. Welcome to you, David.
Well, thanks very much, Dwayne. It's one of those days where the juices really run. I think if you're a Carlton or a Collingwood person, whatever the history has been, this is the day.
Do you have to reinforce to your players how big it is, or do they sense that immediately anyway?
I think other rivalries are starting to develop within the playing group now, but because of the people around, the history that they carry, this becomes their day, and I think that permeates the playing group.
And what about the fact that there's such a big crowd in, looking at the Carlton side? Do you ask these young players in the Carlton team to have a look at the crowd as soon as they get out there to soak it in a bit?
Well, you'd say that, but I think sometimes they get caught up in all the atmosphere of it and maybe lose their focus, but they'll be kept and nailed. That's one of the difficulties, not having a real experienced team.
Yes, because of course they've played in a couple of these big games already, Collingwood. Some of their young players played on Anzac Day, and that will be a little bit of an advantage for Collingwood. Kudafiti's back though, that'll be an advantage for Carlton, having him back into the team. They don't have Nick Stevens or Cameron Cloke, but Kuda back is a plus.
And one thing that most of us know is that Kuda's what they call very first up after a spell. Okay. He's always very good, Dwayne, so you'd expect not great ground time, but a massive influence when he's there.
Anthony Kudafiti's who is going to be royalty as well by the time he finishes his career. And the captain this afternoon, Lance Whitnell, who's taken over from Anthony Kudafiti's. I need a big game from Lance.
Well, and it'd be interesting to see the role that he plays. I'm looking for ruckman in this side at the moment, and I can find Ackland. I can't find another one. Might be young Bow. They might even go for O'Halpin or someone like that, which would be a boost to them, because that's one area they're really struggling in size and ability.
Yes, because Saddington's a late inclusion. Thornton out. So Saddington is playing for Carlton this afternoon. There is Bauer on screen. And Thornton's been a pretty reliable defender for Carlton. They'll miss him.
I think so too. He's been their most consistent, big, tall player in the back half, probably for 3 years, Dwayne, so they'll miss him. And Saddington's not been in good form for a while.
Let's have a look at the Collingwood side, and a massive round of applause as they emerge from their rooms. There is definitely a little bit of a Collingwood advantage to this crowd this afternoon. And as they're being led out onto the field by Josh Fraser this afternoon. He is their captain in the absence of both James Clement and Nathan Buckley, and they dropped 3 young players during the week for disciplinary reasons, but they're going well at the moment, Collingwood. They're in good form.
This is a big day, and they came to the occasion of Anzac Day and delivered, Dwayne. You'd expect them to be used to that, as you've already suggested. I think this is a very exciting side. People like Pendlebury and Thomas are adding that youthful but tremendous talent with it. The run of the two Shores off the half-back line has been really good for them. Their older brigade, Lockyer and Burns, I've been surprised with their return to form, and certainly the speed that the Shaw brothers bring, and this uncanny knowledge like brothers often have of being able to know where they are and feed off each other. They're excitement machines.
And we talk so much about tradition. Well, it's been handed down in Collingwood jumpers because their father Ray, of course, Collingwood captain of years gone by, and one of their superstar players, the Shaw family, has really given the Collingwood Football Club good service. We're really looking forward to this one, David, and I can tell that even you're a little nervous at the moment. Even your blood pressure and your heart rate's up a little bit.
Well, I think if you come with a bit of a cold, I'm not supposed to in this role, but a Carlton person would be a bit anxious today because their form hasn't been great. You'd think that Collingwood would start red-hot favourites today. I'm hoping that Carlton will come to the party and deliver something quite special for a Carlton-Collingwood game.
And do you think Cooter will start straight in the middle? Do you think they'll send him straight into the action? Get your experienced players in there in front of this crowd first?
I think he's played so little football, I'll be very surprised if he's not a late entry to the game.
Anthony Coutafitti's back for the Blues. Well, a couple of their players did perform last year when these two teams met. One of them kicked the goal of the year, Eddie Betts.
Lappin a long ball, DeLuca, Clement in front, Loney, Didak been reported the smother by Betts, kept it alive, the impossible goal! Goal of the year, Eddie! Stouch goes on in the middle.
Massive crowd here at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, nothing but blue sky above, and a crowd in the order of 80,000 expected here for this afternoon's big Collingwood-Carlton encounter. Players going through their warm-ups at the moment. We're also joined in commentary by former Geelong best and fairest Liam Pickering and 200 club member Lee Colbert. Boys, what's it like down there, Liam?
Well, great atmosphere down here, Dwayne. It's conditions are fantastic too. Hardly any wind. Looking for a really big game this afternoon. Both sides will want to start off pretty well. But Colby, who you got here with you?
I've got a young legend here, young Zach, and he's holding the Peter McCallum Cup, and that's what both of the teams are playing for today. Now, Zach, who's going to win, and who's your favourite player?
Collingwood, and my favourite player is Travis Cloke.
There you go, Travis Cloke, the favourite player, and Collingwood are going to win easy, Zach reckons. So back to you, boys.
So Ben Johnson captaining the team for Collingwood this afternoon. There were reports during the week that Josh Fraser would be captaining the team, but Ben Johnson has been given the role, and they will kick to the right of screen, and there is that favourite player, Travis Cloke. His brother not playing this afternoon, Cameron. He tore his shoulder out of the socket training for Carlton during the week and had to get that put back in hospital. So unfortunately the two brothers not able to play against each other, and unfortunately Cameron not able to play against his old side Collingwood. And there's the number 18 on screen, Paul Bauer, who's playing his first game for 2007. He's had some pretty big roles in just a couple of games, and he'll be expected to stand up this afternoon as well. Collingwood won both games these two teams played last season by 72 points in round 6 and by 44 points in round 21. And both those games played in front of a 60,000 odd crowd. But we're expecting a lot more than that this afternoon, given the beautiful conditions for football we've currently got. And there he is, Anthony Coutafitti's on screen. First game for 2007 for Cooter. He ruptured the tendon in a finger, and it's good to see him back, although he will start on the bench, we've been told. And the bench for Carlton, Russell, Murphy, Ackland and Coutafitti's, and for Collingwood, Holland, O'Brien, Dick and Bryan. As we said, some Carlton royalty with us in the box today. David Parkin, three-time premiership coach of the Blues, 81, 82 and 95, as well as that flag with Hawthorn. David, how do you feel right now?
Well, I'm very, very nervous and interested by that bench, because I can understand Murphy being there to break the tag. I think without Stevens, he's had to take a terrific load, and that's been difficult but important in his development. But to see Ackland there, number one ruckman, not there, but you look in the centre bounces, and the young Irishman has been given the nod
to play down already. But as you mentioned, Satana O'Halpin's going to do the ruck work. Dale Thomas went down.
Well, this will test them, because last night a free kick was given prior to the first bounce. I haven't seen that for a long while.
So it starts as you'd expect. These two traditional clubs, the 234th time they've met, the greatest rivals in the AFL as they were in the VFL, and we are underway. Lockyer to Pendlebury. So the opening possessions to Collingwood, wide, Simpson and Burns, good battle, good tackle, no prior opportunity. Pendlebury caught, another brilliant tackle by Bentic, not rewarded though. Umpire allows play to go on. Didak back into the team, centering kick, top of the square, Waite over the top of the fist, picked up by Rocker, and he sprayed it behind.
That's interesting, Dwayne, because Whitnell has gone back to deal with Rocker. That's one matchup that I didn't anticipate. It was ferocious at the very start, but the ruck work, it was Fraser down and Collingwood out, because there was no real contest with O'Halpin.
former Collingwood player, now with the Blues, Heath Scotland, who played in those two losing grand finals for the Magpies, kicks in and finds Simpson in game number 50 for Cade Simpson this afternoon. Pokes it back, Carazzo, now Walker, centering ball. Young was the target, the number 41 for Collingwood. He's given away a free kick. He's short. In bright sunshine here at the G. Sends it long. Cloak's lurking. Takes the mark. Travis Cloak to line up from 50.
And hasn't he been a terrific and consistent performer leading up at centre-half forward? I'm not sure how weight could have been so far off him.
That's the free against Ross Young. It allowed that pass to Travis Cloak, who kicks from the paint of the 50-metre arc, and he is offline. Travis Cloak has kicked 4 goals 11 this year. That's 4 goals 12 now, so it's starting to get worrying now. Houlihan in from fullback, finds Gibbs. Chip kick, good. It's Bentic's pass to Kennedy, and Kennedy held up on the wing. First time Carlton have been to their 50. Lappin flies. Can't bring the mark down, doesn't get a free. O'Halpin. Fisher also back into the lineup for the Blues. Lappin. And the boundary umpire will sort it out.
Well, disappointing. Kennedy didn't get... What he did in the finish was kick it where he should have about 3 or 4 seconds before. Numbers were against Carlton by that time.
So our Halpin starting in the ruck for Carlton, and Ackland starting on the bench. Free kick's been picked out, and it'll be a Collingwood free, but they won't be allowed to play onto advantage. It'll come back to Josh Fraser, and inexperience in the ruck against Satanta O'Halpin. You called it, Dwayne, because there have been too costly an effort in a free because of a lack of experience in that role. Well, Satanta is the great warrior in Irish mythology, and Satanta will have to be a warrior this afternoon in the ruck against Josh Fraser all day. Pendlebury, Josh Fraser.
Got a loose player out wide here, and some space too.
Plenty of space for Prestigiacomo. All depends on how he uses it now. Lockyer, nice use. They maintain possession. Didak's calling for it long in the square. It's short to Isles.
Oh, they got loose again.
And Sam Isles pokes it inside 50. And that's just a little too easy at the moment.
Well, that's terrible. I mean, in the modern game where so many get back, everybody says everybody's responsible and nobody's anybody responsible. That should be impossible to happen then, for a bloke to be fined a 15-metre square of free territory inside the 50. It's a joke.
Played every game. This year, Scott Pendlebury kicked 1-1 last week, 7 for the season, normally fairly accurate, and that's no exception. First goal of the afternoon for Collingwood.
Well, he's been a terrific get, I reckon, for a bloke who was a scholarship holder in basketball at the AIS. I think in the year that he was actually drafted, his development has been quite sensational over the last 2 seasons.
It has, and along with Dale Thomas, they've added a bit of excitement, and they've got a number of other young players, Collingwood, and that's been the exciting part, a little bit like the Kangaroos over the last month. The young players coming on, that's what fans want to see, and full credit to Mick Malthouse for giving these players an opportunity. They're certainly not letting me down at the moment.
There's pick 5 back in 2005, as you mentioned, David, and great that he chose our game. From the ball up. Fraser against O'Halpin. Fraser took it out of the air, gave it to Pendlebury, going nowhere. And umpire Stuart Wen. The umpires this afternoon, Steve McBurney, Stuart Wen and Kieran Nichols. Good bounce from Wen. Big fist. Thumped all the way to half forward by Bentic. Kick around the body from Young towards full forward. Kennedy's down there. Wakeland with him. First score for the Blues.
I just want to throw that at you. Why would you start Ackland, an inexperienced ruckman, the Irishman, on the ground and Ackland off? I just don't know what the thinking was.
Well, it's a hard one to actually explain because he's been pretty good down back this year. Maybe there wasn't the right matchup. He didn't feel the right matchup, Dennis Pagan, in the Collingwood forward line, but started Whitnell on rocker.
I can understand that, but it's the ruck thing. But the 3 contests he's gone for, there's been one or he's free kicked them. Sorry, he's been lost or free kicked them.
Brodie Holland, big round of applause. First game for 2007 for Holland. Got it from Thomas, gives it to Johnson. Captain this afternoon to Rocker. Can't complete the mark. Scotland. He's got Fisher peeling off wide for him. Fisher's got 2 to beat. Wakelin and Tuvey. Kennedy makes it a 2-on-2. Wakelin keeps it alive, but Tuvey content to be rolled out.
And Dwayne Fisher, a very important player in Carlton's forward structure. He's been good when he's been there. He's been absent for a little while. He's a bit of a key performer, needs to kick goals.
He's back from that fractured cheek that's kept him out and has returned a couple of weeks before they expected. Carazzo caught high. The boy who began his career on the Geelong rookie list, given away to Carlton because Geelong had too many similar paced midfielders. And there's a little don't argue to Brodie Holland. And this is Bauer.
An intriguing matchup in the forward line. We know Harry O'Brien's played the tall players and Lucas. He's now on little Eddie Betts. He's obviously pretty mobile.
Waite got it from Whitnell, shorts it to Kennedy.
This is better.
Gibbs. Long kick to Lappin. Good punch away, Reece Shaw, Heath Shaw, the 2 brothers combining to get it towards the boundary. Young kept it alive for a moment.
Talk about the centre corridor. Carlton, when they look dangerous, and they've done it over the last number of weeks, is when they've been able to square the ball into the centre corridor and attack from there. When they're forced wide, they really do bring the ball in very slow.
O'Halpin and Fraser. Fraser almost threw that down. O'Brien, Swan. Ball not clear of Maxwell. Johnson. The 1-2 with Isles. Isles' kick not good. Tough for Rocker. Almost a free against Whitnell. Umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt. Bentic to Gibbs. Whitnell. Danger kick to Scotland. Cut off by Pendlebury. This is a good game at the moment. Big crowd and big game atmosphere about it. Johnson. He's dumped. Oh. Big hip and shoulder in the middle as well. Umpire gives the free to Carazzo.
Gee, wasn't Gibbs cool under pressure, John? Glad he's up in the midfield and not down the back pocket where anybody can play.
Well, you mentioned Holland being out. That's one of the reasons he was out. He gave one of those away in the elimination final last year. Saddington finds Bauer. Maxwell's with him. Play on, said the umpire. Both appealing for frees for different reasons. Both don't get them and both argue.
The kick just, Maxwell's not a very experienced player, just picked him up and threw him out of the way like a wet rag, didn't he?
Halpin attempted to get front spot for that ball in. Holland through traffic. Like he's never been away. Or maybe he has been. He hasn't quite picked up the pace and Eddie Betts got him.
He did everything right up until he tried to take on Eddie Betts, who we know is very fast. And that was a brilliant tackle. There's not a lot you can do when someone's got you by the arm like that.
That's terrific. But I reckon I would have forgiven him. I would have cancelled the free kick after getting the kick back over his head. Play on.
They need this, Carlton. They need their young forwards and their quick forwards doing exactly what Eddie Betts has just done there.
Kicked the goal of the year last year. Round 21 against Collingwood. And a chance to give Carlton their first goal of the afternoon. Nice one, Eddie.
Well, you can forgive Brodie Holland because he did well off the pack. And look, you've been out of the game a while. These are the sort of things, especially early in a match, that can quite easily happen. You just lose your feel for the game a little bit, and it takes a good quarter, a half, in some cases a full match to actually get the feel like you're back playing AFL footy again. And in a hot game, where, especially in the first quarter, where both teams are up and going, you can forgive him a little bit for that, Parko.
Unwanted in the 2004 draft, Eddie Betts. Listed pre-season in 2005 by Carlton. And now playing game number 47. In a good pick-up from the ball up. 8 plays 7. Carlton on the board now. And O'Halpin doing a little better, although Pendlebury gives it to Fraser, O'Halpin's man. Whitnell, front spot. Simpson collected it nicely to Scotland. Would have been a free, but it's play on advantage. Scotland takes on Swan. And he was still in bounds when he got it from Murphy. He came from outside the boundary line. Holland to Swan. And now Fraser. Back to Wakeland.
We've got Rocker long with a mismatch here. If they can get it into him quickly.
Isles. And now O'Brien. One of the Colt heroes of the Blues. Caught. Thomas. Speaking of Colt heroes. Dale Thomas, forced to move from the ex-Collingwood CEO Greg Swan's house just over a month and a half ago. He was living in Greg Swan's poolside cabana, but when he departed Collingwood and went to Carlton, they said, no, can't let the young lad live with a Carlton man.
Well, amazing, though. It was a kick because he was pulled as he delivered, but Walker well in front of Walker behind his man.
And he misses.
Thomas reading it and getting in. Walker just allowed him about 6 or 7 metres. Crook kick could do nothing about it.
So a let off there. Saddington, the late inclusion with Thornton out for the Blues. Wide ball, and we'll get a ball in.
They've been going at it, Thomas and Walker. Just trying to shuffle up the back line at the moment, Carlton. They're trying to stick to their guns. Didak's getting a bit of close treatment from Houlihan as well.
Both draft priority picks, of course. Andrew Walker back in 2003. Spearing kick along the boundary line, okay, because Fisher's got it, and that made it okay.
That's a great kick.
Just pokes it towards half-forward, getting back to the front.
Brilliant.
Mark Murphy runs in. This will be an inspirational goal, and he misses.
I actually went early with the call on the great kick because he made it into a great kick with his courage. And look, that's what you love about Mark Murphy. I mean, never once he was entitled to take a short one then for a young player.
It's a good sign that he didn't, though.
Yeah, my word.
O'Brien to Holland. Lead comes from Rocker. Oh, it's just 15 if that.
Oh, good call, Dwayne.
Gee, Rocker and Holland are standing side by side right now.
The umpires dragged him back to make it look as though the free kick, the kick actually did go 15 on the Dutch. That would have been 11 and a half. That's a biased view. They've got to understand that they're biased views.
Yes, comments from three-time Carlton Premiership coach David Parkin. Anthony Rocker. Didn't kick a goal last week, kicked 3 behinds. He's already kicked a behind today, and that's 5 behinds in a row now for Anthony Rocker.
It can be costly, Dwayne. Have a look at the effort by Essendon last night. Put the game out of their reach in the first quarter by not converting their work.
Houlihan. Long ball. O'Halpin's got 2 to beat here. Beats them both. Scotland. Fisher's down there with Tuvey. Kept alive for a second by Kennedy and then taken across the line. Kennedy could even do a bit of ruck work this afternoon. He comes from good stock, basketball stock at that. Bred for NBL. His father played for the Canberra Cannons and his mother for the Canberra Capitals in the WNBL. But he, another basketballer who chose our great game instead. From the ball in, Betts.
Oh, a bit of holding.
Fisher and Gibbs again. Murphy left it, and Fisher kicks towards full forward for Favola, beaten again by Prestigiacomo, who's winning that battle at the moment.
Look at the space here for Lockyer.
Oh. He's sure found him. He can have a couple of bounces, being chased by Jordan Russell. Pass towards Cloak. Didak's calling for it back. Kick smothered. Well played by Waite. Cloak tries to keep it going. Russell through traffic, dumped by Lockyer. Crowd want ball, or at least the Collingwood portion of it.
Well, Dwayne, there's a real edge to this game, isn't it? Just a nice, aggressive, physical edge to it. Every activity has got this physicality attached to it. I love it.
Not many spare seats here. We mentioned maybe 80,000, but could be high 80s from the ball up. Murphy, Houlihan, boundary line, somehow found Walker. To the wing. Fisher down there, punched away by Tuvey to Lockyer. Kick terrible. Murphy, Simpson caught, but got the handball away. Russell, Murphy again, having an impact, kick smothered. Isles. And the umpire's found a free. It goes against Lappin. Reece Shaw. Rocker on the move. And it's too wide for Anthony Rocker. With Lance Whittle on him, we'll get a ball in. 10 plays 8. Big game atmosphere. And we've played 16 minutes in the opening term. Thomas, third man up, knocks it down. Houlihan's direction, Whitnell. Not a lot to kick to. Tries to send it out of the danger territory, Lappin. He had a couple to beat and was too quick for them. Favala, all the way up to the wing for a possession. Back to Lappin. Kick not good, cut off by Heath Shaw. Lockyer. Held up.
Yeah, Burns is on in the centre here, if they can get it to him.
Swan. So our Halpin having a rest now, and Ackland on in the ruck for Carlton. Harry O'Brien, Ben Johnson, tied up with Gibbs. Little Shepherd from Ackland is good. In fact, he gets a possession for his trouble. Back to Gibbs. Walker. Nice pass, Simpson.
This is better. We're late in the forward line.
Wait towards Kennedy. Tough one for Kennedy. Gathers, caught. Reece Shaw. Dumped by Lappin. Umpire allows play to go on. Fisher, Favala. Oh.
That was a great mark by Favala, there's no doubt about that. What I liked about Favala was the previous passage of play, or the forward entry for Carlton. He was prepared to push up the ground and open the space up for young Kennedy. He gets his just desserts by wheeling around there. Kennedy pushes out, leaves Favala one out there with a younger, or smaller, I should say, player, and look, a great mark.
Well, once upon a time we would say that Brendan Favala wears Alex Jezelenko's old number 25, but ask any kid around now and they'll say Alex Jezelenko once wore Favala's 25. Splits the middle, and Carlton are in front.
But Dwayne, I hope they show that mark again, because he actually got himself into a very difficult position. Such a difficult position that only a very few players like Brendan Favala could actually get the end result from this particular position he found himself in.
Yeah, he just had a mismatch there.
Just terrific.
Well, he shapes as the most important player on the ground, really. If Collingwood can hold Favala, you would think that they would be able to win this match, but already, as I say, the work rate across half forward earlier in an earlier passage of play indicates to me that he's on song this afternoon.
And the ball up, and the Blues leading for the first time. Burns had it but lost it. Swan to Pendlebury.
Was free.
He just didn't see him.
See, wasn't Lapp's effort previously to get the ball to Favala? We forgot about his part in that.
Ackland, nice palm down to Bentic. Murphy around the body. Young couldn't trap it. It was a tough one. And he's sure got the free. Pokes it out in front of Tuvey. Kick around the body towards Johnson. Ooh, caught high. So Cloak's on the move. White with the fist. Pendlebury, O'Brien, Saddington. Back into traffic. Ackland ducked into that. O'Brien caught by Russell.
You're not going to get any time or space today, boys. Take the first opportunity when it presents. The first option's going to be best option today.
That was Shane O'Brien on screen. He got 5 Brownlow votes last year in the 2 games these 2 teams play. Best on ground and second best. From the ball up, Murphy shrugged the tackle. Got the kick away. Bentic tried to rake it in. Ran past it. And we'll get a ball up. We're into time on opening term.
Ben Johnson starting across half forward for Collingwood, just to give him a bit of pace up there in the forward line, the Pies. Bryce Gibbs, his opponent. Bit unusual position for Benny Johnson. I know he has played forward, but normally provides plenty of run-off half-back.
6 possessions so far for Mark Murphy, leading possession getter for the Blues in this opening term. And we'll get another ball up.
He copped one that last. He's got a leg, shin, knee or ankle on the left side, Murphy, and Lockie has got him. It's interesting how that's evolved from Burns to Lockie, and now look after Murphy's been so good. Already had 2 opponents in the first couple of minutes.
Pendlebury and Swan, the leading possession getters for Collingwood, both with 7 each. Carazzo, third man up in the ruck. He's short, quick kick. Here he is again, Murphy to full forward. Favola had it long enough.
Well,
and did he mark it just outside the square?
Just outside, I believe.
So he will be pushed around on an angle.
Parko, when the ball's bounced in a stoppage situation, sometimes an indiscriminate kick, and there wasn't a lot of pretty stuff out of that, just get it forward. But you give your forwards a chance. He was in front, and we know he's a quality player.
For number 2 for the afternoon, Brendan Favola leading from the front.
And even when you know it's on, I mean, it's been a Lee Matthews Brisbane trick for as long as I can remember, and people think, well, we know it's coming and we should be able to deal with it, but you're quite right. It actually creates the fast movement forward, and people can actually run on it in the direction they want to be going when they gather the ball.
And they always say, well, Malcolm Blight's always said that good, smart forwards read and adjust to balls that float. And that was another one around the corner from Murphy, who's been in everything early in this match. Quality forward, was in front of his opponent. Not a lot Presty could have done there.
Well, Favola's best against Collingwood was 12 goals in that Millennium match on New Year's Eve back in 2000. He's got 2, and we're not far from quarter time. Still a chance for him to add to it before the first break. Fraser. Walker caught. Get another ball up.
It actually was, what would you call an impediment in his career, Dwayne, those 12 goals at that stage.
Not too sure you could actually rationalise that. How can kicking 12 be an impediment?
Well, when you do it on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, and 2 years later before he kicked his next 3.
From the ball up. Walker dragged down. That is a good battle between he and Dale Thomas. I mentioned Andrew Walker, priority pick back in 2003, number 2 pick behind Adam Cooney. And Dale Thomas, of course, priority pick in 2005, number 2 behind Mark Murphy. Pendlebury, a big thump down. Holland missed it. Scotland and Holland.
Ooh. What's interesting here,
gave him a little
bit of national pride on the line there for Scotland and Holland.
I reckon he gave him a little sneaky one there. You know when you pretend that you're going to hit the ball and you actually punch the back in the face?
The third man in has happened more and more. And I can't happen to centre bouncer, but every other ball up round the place, they've been locked in and somebody's come over the top.
Ackland, but down to Lockyer, caught. Slaps it to Burns, caught. Bentic ties him up.
Is that a bit of not a lot of trust in the ruckman?
I think they both conceded they haven't got dominant ruckman. Fraser, shouldn't he start as if he was going to, and I thought this might be the difference, but they've certainly nailed them now.
Well, the clearances tell the story there. The Blues getting on top.
Yep.
Ackland and Fraser down towards Burns. Lockyer stole it, but straight to Scotland, his old teammate. Murphy to Bentic. Long ball. Favola might not get there.
Yeah, that's what they need, Collingwood. That's how they need their back line to set up, where they can peel off, which means they've got to put midfield pressure on.
Shane Wakeland to Burns. 2 boys back from the 92 draft that are still on their list. Amazing careers they've both had. Big chance here. Pendlebury has had a magnificent first term, sends it to the goal square, and Whitnall's fist wins out.
There's been some brave work. Just in that sequence there, Favola ran 150 metres to pick up a man on the wing. That is a good sign, Liam, if you're a coach for him, because he doesn't do that too often.
My word.
Houlihan to Murphy. This will be possession 9 for the quarter for Mark Murphy. Working with one of the Carlton stars, in fact their games record holder Craig Bradley, who's an assistant coach now, tutoring guys like Mark Murphy and Bryce Gibbs, young midfielders, and looks to be doing a pretty good job, old Bradle. Saddington towards the wing to Thomas, who went the big fly from 4 deep, and Fraser took the mark.
Not realistic attempt, was that?
I'm not going to say, I'm not sure Josh would have appreciated if he had actually got a knee in the back of his head from the young little rover that should have been at his feet.
Swan. Cloak. Late 26 minutes, 90 seconds left. O'Brien. Got Lockyer short. Tough
here.
kick from the pocket. Back to O'Brien. Runs in. Just gets the kick away in time. Saddington's pressure enough. Behind.
I found it very hard. He actually got himself free of the actual pressure. There was a bit of, applied sort of pressure. But he should always, left footer running on that angle, should put it away.
Well, he's a natural right footer. I can't understand when the pressure was coming from his left side why he didn't kick with his right foot. We might have a look at that in a sec.
Whitnell to O'Halpin. Back onto the field after a little rest. Started in the ruck. Bryce Gibbs. Walker. Kennedy was down there and they left it for each other. Burns caught. Walker a little untidy. We'll get a ball up.
This one here. Now, see the pressure's coming from the left side, so I'm not quite sure why he didn't kick on his preferred, on his preferred side. I can understand if the pressure was coming from the boundary side. Strange.
Ball up. 1 minute from quarter time. Bentic again. Carazzo. Push out, Simpson front spot. Bentic trying to ride Tuvey a little. Terrible handball, Swan. O'Brien, Burns, Bentic. Magnificent tackle, and it's a free to Collingwood. It comes back to Swan. One last chance for a score here, the Magpies.
Plenty of numbers inside the Collingwood forward 50 here, so there's not a lot of space.
Tuvey.
This is where you need the forwards to be a bit smart, Parko. Take your man out of it.
Prestigiacomo, who's not a big goal kicker, hasn't kicked any this year. Didn't attempt a shot, tried to get Tuvey. Stolen by Houlihan. They are free on the run back here. Lappin can go all the way. Thought about another bounce, goes long. Kennedy, goal square. It's all about the bounce.
Yes.
That's a big game, 80,000 crowd bounce, that is.
It's hard not to try and will that ball through. It was unbelievable. It looked like it was bouncing through, nearly hit the behind post.
Done a leg break, or it's googly or something.
Well, and that was because Carlton pushed all their numbers back into Collingwood's forward line. They turned it over the Pies and left it completely open. Look at that bounce.
Well, I think, but let's go back to one step further. Why is it Collingwood allowed that to happen? When you've got all those in there, they can't all be receivers. They're all taking us away. Get up behind the ball, which also gives you a barrier to prevent that action from happening.
Well, as a defender, I reckon I wouldn't have been too happy if I was Wakeland one out in the forward 50 with a player who's 18 years of age. Young legs.
14-point lead to Carlton. Collingwood, they've won their last 2. Carlton's lost their last 3. Well, they're the inspired team, and it's a downfield free, and it'll be taken by Kennedy just outside the square, and it's on. He has been under pressure, Mark Murphy. They've been putting him down every opportunity. Carlton need to be careful they don't get it taken off them here, because it's 6 points for the taking if they leave this alone.
Well,
just laugh at him. Point at the scoreboard.
I tell you what, Dennis Pagan would like that. The fact that they were really winning after Murphy, because he's been pretty heavily hit most of the quarter. Every possession's been under pressure.
Josh Kennedy sends it home.
And there's a time and a place to show the flag, and I reckon that was exactly the time. You've already got the free kick. It's downfield. And you've got to show that you're going to be there for your teammate. Now, wasn't a hell of a lot in it, but it was a bit late. But I reckon for a young team...
I think it's the case that you turn the thing over. But the good thing out is that Murphy started Dwayne on the bench, and he was there for a considerable time. And I should have made a note when he came onto the ground. He's probably had the ball a dozen times in the first quarter and been significant in those possessions.
Bentic with the rip jumper. Only playing out the final seconds of what's been a magnificent opening term, especially if you're a Blues fan. They lead by 20 points. Carazzo's had plenty of it, but the star's been Mark Murphy. 10 possessions in the opening term for Mark Murphy. 6 kicks, 4 handballs. Didak's down. Favola's in it.
Josh Fraser's hurt here.
Didak's on the bottom of it. Every umpire around this skirmish, and the AFL will have a look at this one. As you mentioned, Josh Fraser is still down. He can't get up, Josh Fraser.
No, he's been KO'd.
He's up now, and he's looking for the villain.
Well, need to have another look at that, but just erupted out of nothing, really.
Collingwood versus Carlton, Melbourne Cricket Ground. It doesn't get much bigger than this, and Carlton fans, you'd be happy at the moment because you lead by 20 points, 5-2-32 to 1-6-12. Brendan Favola, 2 goals in the opening term, and he's split packs and he's split his own head. We'll have a look at the Fev shortly, boys, but the disposals and the stats firstly.
Well, I think the clearances, Parko, is probably where the real ascendancy Carlton have got. Murphy been leading the way there, 13-5 in the clearances. Considering they're giving away probably an advantage in the ruck, I think this have been dominant with their attack on the ball.
Brendan Favola had some treatment a few moments ago, and he's still getting it as well. Not too sure if they've put stitches in his head, but they mopped up a lot of blood, and now they've got the cream on to stop the bleeding. And hopefully Brendan Favola will be all right. Having a chat to his coach downstairs, who's saying, Brendan, just don't go over the top, because he did knock Didak down during the break. Downstairs amongst it all is Lee Colbert. Lee.
Dwayne, yeah, plenty happening down here. Both coaches very animated at the break. Josh Fraser looks okay, but Scotty Burns and Brodie Holland not real happy with the Fev. There's blood everywhere and blokes changing their jumpers, so I look forward to the second quarter.
Good stuff, Colby. Lee Colbert downstairs. Josh Fraser, who went down during that skirmish at quarter time. Does he look okay to you?
He didn't look okay to me coming up off the deck, right. And I'll be very surprised if he's all with it at this point. I'm going to take a remarkable bloke to take a whack like that and get up. What is interesting for me are the key forwards. We talk about it. I reckon Whitnell's got the better of Rocker. Waite's doing very well against Cloak, despite effects leading up. At the other end, Fev has got Presti's, I think, measure, and young Kennedy has really worked Waitland over. So they, in the 4 key, what you would call defence and attacking position, Carlton are obviously up.
But it comes back, the whole thing comes back to their desire to compete. And look, I just think from the word go, Carlton have said today, righto, we're here for a real scrap. We don't care how it takes. And I look at Favola, and yeah, it can be a fraction undisciplined at times, but if you're going to start a bit of a fracas, not a bad time to do it is at quarter time. Yeah. You can't give away a free kick. But look, he's been pretty good, hasn't he, up forward? Lappin's providing plenty of run. Murphy's clearly the best player on the ground at the moment, and they'll need to do something here, Collingwood, to shut him down, because he is setting them up at every opportunity.
He's gone to the wing on Pendlebury, which is more interesting. He's initiating the actual tag.
Carlton by 20 points as we start this second term. Let's hope it's as good as the first. We've got a secondary ball up.
And I might have to eat my words about O'Halpin. He's been struck. He's a big, physical, strong boy, and he's a great competitor. I don't think they've lost too much. I thought it was a stupid position, but I think he's doing okay.
Well, as tough sports go, hurling is about as tough as it gets, and that's his pedigree. He's an All-Ireland hurling champion, and he doesn't mind getting a whack. They use sticks in hurling, if you didn't know.
I say, it's only the Irish play it, Dwayne. That's how mad they are.
And we mentioned that Satanta means great warrior in Irish mythology, and gee, he's been good so far against Josh Fraser. From the ball up, big thump down, and O'Halpin's down behind play. Walker, Swan with him. Gave him the nudge, picked it up, turned it over though to Murphy. Another possession. Walker, Scotland. Bentic through the legs of Pendlebury, and Favala's got it again. And 50. No. Gee.
I love the way Dwayne protects the ball. You know, when you get it, he floats in really, but he gets up so high early. There's no chance for the backman to get a hand on the ball.
There's a bit of a comedy of errors there. It was a good kick in the finish. Didn't over-kick it.
Oh, yeah.
He's looking for some physical contact at the moment for Vola.
He threw that away, hoping for the 50. He fooled me, but not the umpires. A 60% goal kicker for his career, the Fev. And he's slowly getting better with each year. He's got 2 already this afternoon. He's missed.
Yeah, you look quickly saying Fev's really getting on top of Presti. Who's the next one? I reckon they should have gone for O'Brien. I reckon that was probably a good opportunity. He's shown he can do it against the bigs and the smalls. I think they can find a small bloke, but they can't find the right size for Vola.
He's short to Burns.
Sorry, Dwayne, I was to say he's the one they need to stop. So if he's gone top of Presti, you reckon he'd be a bit too slippery for Wakeland.
O'Brien to Holland. Into the corridor, chased down by Betts. Handball away just inside the Tuvey. Back to O'Brien, under pressure. He's short, Swan. O'Brien. Lead comes. Pushing the back to Bryan, and he'll line up from 50.
Interesting on this one. It's a prodigious kick, O'Brien. He was at Carlton, as people will remember, and I'm not sure why he didn't go on. Medium ruckman, reasonably talented forward, but a huge kick of the ball.
Yeah, 16 games and 9 goals in his 2 seasons at Carlton. Chris Bryan, 25-year-old who kicked 3-2 last week. He was one of the stars of the show. He was a hero last week in that victory against Adelaide at Amy Stadium. And that's a terrible kick.
Well, he kicked that like a bag of wheat. But you're right, Parko. He is normally naturally a very nice long kick. So the old set shots sometimes throw the big blokes out, don't they? On the run, he probably would have slammed that.
Did miss a couple in the last quarter last week, though, that could have been costly. They weren't in the end. And here he makes amends, Chris Bryan. Tried out for Collingwood's rookie list spot back in 2000, actually, before he went to Carlton. He's no stranger to Collingwood. He sends it long. Halpin got a hand on it. Ball knocked down to Dick. Snap around the body to the goal square. What a magnificent mark. Not paid to Scotland. Free kick to Whitnell.
It's a great mark by Scotland.
Stayed in the air a long time. So Whitnell given the free. Gives it to Houlihan. Saddington. Bryan chases him down. Caught. Fisher. Bryan tries to slap him. Fisher gets the kick away to half forward. Simpson. Lockyer drags him across the line. We'll get a ball in.
Must have been very close to dropping the ball.
Yes, I thought it was too.
If you don't actually, if you miss the ball, that's a free kick.
Especially if you take on the tackler. From the ball in. Isles. He's Shaw. Murphy again. Caught this time. Back to Isles. Free kick for being held.
I'll tell you what they're doing though, Carlton. They're putting so much pressure on Collingwood that it's creating a little bit of perceived pressure when they haven't got the pressure on them and they're turning the ball over. And that's exactly how Dennis Parker would want his team to play. Just ferocious attack on the man with the ball. And when it's your turn to go, they're going.
Lockyer in the Pendlebury direction. Got the handball away to O'Brien. Centering ball to Didak. Just his second game of the year, Alan Didak. But when he is firing, they are always tough to beat.
Appreciate how difficult this kick is. Around the corner. Now, he didn't have feel there, Houlihan. He was protecting the space where I reckon thought he was going to kick it. But
I think you can do that with Didak. Didak's so effective in this particular role. You really need touch most of the time.
Knows where the goals are. Kicked 41-23 last year. Very reliable. And he kicks the opener of the second term.
Well, to say they needed that one. Dwayne is their underestimation. I think they were starting to get the wobbles up a bit, and they needed to put one away. That's clearly a crucial first goal for this quarter for Collingwood.
Down on the boundary line, Lee Colbert. What's that crowd like, Lee?
It's really picked up since quarter time, boys. They're really getting into it now, and especially after a Collingwood goal.
Massive crowd in. Houlihan on Didak. Alan Didak, of course, picked 3 back in 2000 behind Revolt and Kosicki. Carlton had picked 4 that year and took Luke Livingston, who's no longer on the Carlton list. So what a difference one pick makes in the draft. From the ball up. Scotland going nowhere. Fraser in the middle of it. Burns. Carazzo.
Hasn't it become... the draft's become such a focus in whole football circles at the moment, is to who picked who and who didn't. I mean, it's amazing what you were saying. One player, Didak could be handy, I would have thought, at Carlton at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Lockyer wide. Didak. The man we're speaking of, White. Good smother.
Yep. At the other end, they brought Ackland on Carlton and put him deep in the forward line, which is causing a bit of a mismatch. Maxwell, his opponent.
And the ball in. Momentum swinging back a little now. Fraser towards O'Brien. Carazzo caught. O'Brien gets the snap away from the pocket. To behind. Shane O'Brien. Couldn't quite bring it around enough. Whitnell.
Not sure about that kick.
Swan. Knocked over legally, according to the umpire.
Oh.
Scotland. Towards Kennedy. Wakeland thumps it out of play. 219th game for Shane Wakeland. 94 games and 19 goals at St Kilda, of course, and has never kicked a goal for Collingwood, even though this is game 125 for the Magpies. And a very reliable man down back. Swan. Bentic. Swan the free.
Getting busy, Dane Swan. Up to 12 possessions now.
Heads toward Lockyer. Tough kick. Marks it. He's got Cloak. Hits him. 50 from goal.
He does lead up strongly, doesn't he? He's a really hard-working centre-half forward. I think he's got better at knowing when and where to run.
As we said, he's kicked 20 goals, 40 in his career, 4 goals, 12 this year. They really need him to start kicking straight at some stage.
Well, it's going to be difficult to consistently kick straight if you're having shots from 50. He needs to be able to get the ball a bit closer to goal to be able to improve that accuracy.
Kennedy, Fisher, both there for the Blues, and Fisher with a little protection from Kennedy as he was coming off. Gives it to Carazzo, and now Betts. Fisher again. He's got Walker wide. Favola might come from 4 deep to his own advantage, but he's short-trucked it. Lockyer, Swan, as you mentioned, Liam, having an impact now. Kick a wobbler towards Didak. And Houlihan gives Didak the free.
He's played it well, Didak.
Well, he did. He's in front. He's coming at the ball. Houlihan's just got to get on his bike earlier.
Cloak. Okay, he's closer to goal, but the angle's more acute.
Well, when you say close to the goals, that's right. We really want to get it in the corridor somewhere. Played that for all it was worth then, Alan Didak, as a smart forward would.
So all eyes now on Travis Cloak, the youngest of the 3 brothers.
Backing him here, Dwayno. Get that kicking boot on.
You've lost your money. Another behind for Travis Cloak, so that's 4 goals, 14 this year.
Well, the game that's going to work players exceptionally hard. You don't want to have a huge deficit to try and find with 20 minutes to go in the game, and they're just kicking themselves out of this at the moment.
Well, they're dominating the inside 50s for the quarter, something like 6-1. They need a better result, just the 1 goal so far.
Murphy, Bentic with a new jumper after having his ripped at quarter time. White. Danger, Murphy. Oh, beautiful stuff around Didak. Long towards half forward. Fisher's got a couple to beat. Well played by Heath Shaw. Now Cloak on the rebound. The lead comes from Bryan in the pocket. It's ignored. Centering ball is good. Trapped by Pendlebury. Takes on Murphy. Caught. Johnson, captain for Collingwood this afternoon, pokes it towards the square. Houlihan gets back. O'Halpin calls for a wide.
His game now is just not there. He's just not quite sure what to do.
Koutafidis, not quite. But good to see Kuta back. He's now amazingly only 5 players have played more games for the Blues than Anthony Koutafidis, with today's game added to his total only. Bradley, Doull, Nichols, Silvani and Madden are ahead of the great Kuta on the game playing list of the Blues. O'Brien chips it to Pendlebury.
Lockyer.
And he can run in, Tarkin Lockyer. He can kick from 45. He goes to Thomas in the pocket.
It's now 8 inside 50s to Collingwood to 1 for the quarter. The game's being played in one half at the moment. It's Collingwood's half, yet they haven't got the result. And once again, this is a low percentage spot to be kicking for goal.
Lofty was in charge, inside 50, running space all around. It could have been encouraged by his mates, pointed the goal and delivered a much easier version than the one we're about to watch.
He's going for the check side or the banana, the reverse punt. Depends on which state you come from. Behind.
Yeah, they've got to get it into the corridor more.
Yep.
No doubt about that.
Well, yeah, when you have it in there and you're free and unpressured, you don't go out.
Well measured kick into Saddington. Scotland shrugs the tackle and bounces away from O'Brien. Favola's on the lead. O'Brien's with him.
Holding.
Favola's free, no play on advantage. The umpire will bring it back. Umpire Kieran Nichols gave them a chance there.
There's no advantage when Brendan Favola has got a ball. He's just outside 50. That's the best percentage spot to be kicking. This is his favourite spot to kick from.
Yep, no doubt.
I'm not sure a player that's under a bit of pressure that can run on is an advantage. This is exactly where Carlton want to be.
Oh, the umpire was smart enough to know that and call it right.
2 goals in the opening term. Haven't kicked a goal in this quarter yet. Comes back, but maybe not enough. And you could see his displeasure.
We'll have to ride one home soon. we haven't ridden one home that we predicted so far, but they'll turn. After half-time, they'll kick them from everywhere.
Surely that wasn't a free kick. that was as soft as butter, that free.
Harry O'Brien wide towards Wakeland. Scotland, the fist. Tuvey. Tough kick for Lockyer to collect. Maxwell. Wakeland. Fraser. Lockyer. Not quite to Lockyer. Johnson.
Well done, Houlihan.
Houlihan. He just kept pursuing it, Houlihan. Couple of bounces. Have another one if he wants. Fraser's not coming at him. Chips it, Scotland. Walker.
Koutafidis loose.
One out for Vola and O'Brien in the goals.
Ran into trouble. Coughed it up. Dick. Spears the pass. Rocker. Left it behind. Whitnell. And now Carlton in the rebound. Lapham's free. Numbers in the middle.
Now Scotland's out wide if he sees him.
Simpson to Scotland. And he'll have a shot.
Oh, gee, I couldn't take a breath then. It went 4 times up and down the ground, 50 to 50 with errors and great run and carry, and now Scotland's having a shot at goal. I think they probably had earned it twice before.
Anthony Rocker leaving it behind.
Yeah.
What a trade Heath Scotland's been. He was traded by Collingwood to Carlton for pick 53. Collingwood grabbed Brent Hall with that pick, and he only played 1 senior game and has since been delisted. And yet Heath Scotland has been a magnificent player for the Blues. From 55. It'll drop short. Over the back, here's Shaw. Holland. Kennedy cut it off. Holland back to his Shaw. Wide ball. Houlihan won't get there to attempt to mark. Didak's with him. Good battle. Lappin, Pendlebury, Thomas. Now O'Brien. Wanted Johnson. Back to Thomas. He's away. The leads come. Prestigiacomo playing up forward now. Off hands, Dane Swan. Travis Cloak. What will he do with this one? He's missed again.
Should have given it back. There was a 1-2 on offer there. Back to Swan, and he missed him. And it hurts, but another entry for no result.
Well, they've owned this quarter, Collingwood.
Yep.
Scotland wide. Saddington. Late inclusion for Thornton, who dropped out. He just joined us. And this is Ross Young.
He's been okay, Saddington, too. I'll give him his due. He's been a pretty competent performer today.
And the wide ball, Favola can't mark it. Harry O'Brien with him.
I think it's a better matchup, Dwayne.
Well,
Parko, I reckon.
Already seen that, haven't we, really? Yeah.
Athletically, it's a much better matchup.
Free kick.
Silly boy. O'Brien down for Favola.
And 50.
And he's abused him and got 50. That is it's not such a good matchup. I'll just change my mind.
No.
Well, it was just what I happened to see. That was just inane. It was undisciplined and stupid, and now extremely costly.
It's interesting because as Favola lines this up, goal number 3 for the Fev against the run of play. Harry O'Brien is wearing Des Tuddenham's old number 30, and Tuddy spoke to Harry O'Brien as the umpire confirms that goal and said, boy, you better toughen up. You're wearing my jumper. And he actually invited him around, Harry O'Brien, Des Tuddenham, to his house and ran through him, put the ball down on the ground, gave him the hip and shoulder and said, you've got to toughen up.
Well, the free kick wasn't against O'Brien. In fact, it was against Maxwell for a bit of a push, a bit of a bump, which I think was a bit too much. And then he gave away the 50, Harry, because he questioned the decision. But unfortunately, it made a goal that was probably a 70-30, 100% certainty.
40 plays 23. Brendan Favola now has 3. 18 minutes gone, second term. Bryan in the ruck now for Collingwood. Scotland. Murphy. No, it's not. It's Carazzo this time. And now Lappin. Plays on quickly. Bouncing ball. Tough one. Fisher. Left foot kick. Can't get it away. Magnificent tackle. Tuvi's tackle not rewarded. O'Brien ride. Thomas. And was that in the marking contest, that
50,
push?
That's right.
You can't push after the mark's been taken.
How that wasn't a free kick to Tuvi is staggering.
Right.
That is the perfect tackle.
He didn't even attempt to kick it, let alone get a boot anywhere near it. Bad miss.
Fair 50.
Well, the excitement's here. We saw Brisbane and Carlton the other night kick about 150 goals in a game, and we've only seen 8 kicks so far. This game loses nothing in excitement, in my opinion.
No one's on Prestigiacomo in the forward line at all.
Cloak. Everything's bigger in Carlton Collingwood games, even the 50-metre penalties. Cloak long from the pocket. Marking the goal square, Josh Fraser. Knocked out at quarter time. Groggy gets to his feet and will ram this through as we edge into time on in the second term.
Well, he hasn't had much of the ball, has he? And I think that knock did unsettle him a bit, but that was a very brave mark.
His ninth disposal is a goal.
For all the play they've had this quarter, Collingwood, to kick 2 goals to 1 is a really disappointing result. Mick Moldhouse, he'll be happy with the endeavour of Collingwood because I think they're working pretty hard and they're probably controlling the match, but unless you can get the goals on the board, it just lets in, and it really hurts twice as much when it goes down the other end. They go inside 50 Carlton once and they get a goal. Not Josh's day, is it? Just landed on his head then. Jared Waite sat on his head.
But a goal's a goal, and that'll lift his confidence. 40 plays 29. The lead was 20 points at quarter time. It's now back to 11. Bryan doing well in the ruck. Burns, Holland. Lappin's got him. Danger here. Ben Johnson and Young. Nice collision. Pendlebury. Lappin wrapped him up. Betts. Holland's got him. Carazzo throws it out. Burns. It's been a tough game. And it's still hot in the kitchen at the moment. Tooby going nowhere. We'll get a ball up.
Oh, it's super intense. That's keeping us on the edge of our seats, and everybody in the ground, I think, feeling the same way.
It's the man over the top here. The Carlton set up. The third man up into some space, because there is some space outside this contest.
Bryan in the ruck against Ackland. Bryan the secondary slap. O'Brien left it behind. Houlihan had it for a second. Ackland pokes it inside 50. That's a clever kick to Carazzo. If it was 15.
Yeah. It was actually a really clever kick.
It was a clever kick.
Because he was entitled to probably blaze away to the top of the goal square. And the big men, they don't normally like to kick short under pressure, but actually very smart play by Ackland. That kicked it all of about 8 metres. And
into that space that you said had been created. Perfectly placed.
22 minutes gone. Second term. Nice off the boot. Has it got the carry? Yes, it has. Carazzo's first goal.
Probably two players in the Carlton side, Carazzo and Bentic. Not flamboyant, not very quick, small in stature and strong, but have been very good inside and are very efficient and probably pretty effective players.
Well, the criticism of Carazzo over his junior career and also early in his AFL career has been his use of the ball. I think that's improved.
Yes, definitely.
He's used the ball really well today around the ground as well. Had it 8 times and has generally hit a target, and that was a really important finish when you're coming up to the last 5 minutes of the second quarter.
46 plays, 29. Bryan in the ruck. Dumped it down. Scotland, though. Holland brought down, and get a secondary ball up from umpire Steve McBurney.
Time out of the game for Holland and Koutafidis has made their decision-making a little bit suspect, hasn't it?
It certainly has.
Scotland straight up in the air, can mark his own kick. No call of play on, though. Russell thought he had it. Scotland again. O'Halpin. Eddie Betts the target. He's in Eddie Betts' direction. He's sure thumped it down. Betts kept his feet. Lappin. Fisher inside 50. Got hands to it. Now the crumb. Good tackle, Burns. Favola. Almost a throw to Betts. Touched. Wakeland got a fingernail on it. It's a behind.
Well done, Wakeland. I think that was a terrific effort to read it and get a hand on it. Got a good hand on it. Should have been put away, Liam. They got it out, didn't they? Worked out. Favola's hand pass was slick.
It was slick.
Heath Shaw to Harry O'Brien. Back to Heath Shaw. Simpson to fly here. Got hands to it. Dale Thomas forced the spoil and gathered the crumb. Fraser leads. Isles back into the corridor. Dumped. Russell with the turnover. Knocked it down to Bauer. Runs the 15. Carazzo. If it sits, he can get it inside 50. It's around Holland.
Did well.
Favola the target. Harry O'Brien towards the boundary. Fev doesn't keep it alive. We'll get a ball in.
Well, he did do well, Carazzo, didn't he? It was 3-1 against. Someone said why somebody didn't. One of the three didn't close him down a bit more. Got it away. This is a good result.
It's been good, Carazzo, and he's waiting for this one as well. Isles smothered. O'Halpin to Murphy again. The lead comes inside 50. Good spoil by Heath Shaw. Knocked it down. Wakeland slap out to Maxwell. Fisher gets a shepherd from Young, who was dragged down. Murphy. Caught. Was that a push in the back? According to McBurney, it was.
Stiff. It was, but it was stiff. How quickly does he pull up Murphy?
Inside 50. Good spoil by Holland. Thumped it back. Simpson into the pocket. Spins it around. Too much. Behind. Cade Simpson failed to gather a possession in his first 3 games of AFL footy. It was persevered with, and it's now 50th game for Cade Simpson this afternoon. Picked 45 back in 2002. He's been a survivor. 5th season on the list. Couldn't snare that goal though.
Now, that is a good kick in. That has broken up the zone.
Isles. In fact, it's Maxwell. Oh, big shepherd by Pendlebury. And Fisher's down and hurt. Fisher coming off a broken cheekbone as well. And he's still down in his first game back. Russell picks it up. Sends it long to Vavola.
Brave boy, Fisher.
He's okay.
Super.
Oh, it's right on the cheekbone too.
Well, he saw it coming.
Yes.
He came from front on, so I didn't think there was too much there. But Favola again, they had some space for Favola. One out is just how he wants it. He's up against Shaw. He's giving away. On the play, and you can't get the score on the board. It only takes 2 or 3 precise entries by Carlton, and they opened up a very important margin just about at half-time, Parker.
And the fact will be that at some stage, Carlton are going to get some momentum. And if they continue to score with the same efficiency, you're dead when you don't score when you have the momentum.
You saw Mick Malthouse on screen. Collingwood on the ropes approaching half-time. Fraser beats O'Halpin in the ruck to Swan. Handball too slick for Burns. Johnson left it behind. Murphy again. Bentic inside 50 for Vola. Stolen from him by Koutafidis. Harry O'Brien shrugs the tackle. Rishaw gets the boot on it. Bouncing ball, Houlihan and Didak. That's been a good battle. Gibbs to Houlihan. And now Long hoping for Young. Front spot. Young goes back in for the Blues, and that's a win.
My word, it's a win when you're outnumbered 3-1.
His rookie list at the start of this year, just his 2nd game, Ross Young, and he's not, as his name suggests, he's actually 23 years of age playing his 2nd game. We saw Fisher on the bench for the Blues. O'Halpin. Bentic. Simpson tucked into the boundary line, centering kick. Walker's the target this time. Front spot, can't mark it, was his Shaw. Lays the tackle, ties it up, keeps it in. 40 seconds from half-time.
Did well then, he's Shaw.
Oh, he did, didn't he? He was in heaps of trouble. 3-1 against, he did the job.
Too far out to thump it through for a behind, you'd think, for the Collingwood defence. Fraser, Ackland, Wakelin, Pendlebury, Maxwell. Cloak. Can't take the mark, but it's almost as good as. Spearing kick towards Didak. One hand on it. Free kick, play on advantage. Dick around the body towards Bryan. Time enough for a Collingwood score. Bryan can't keep it alive. And with 17 seconds left on the clock, we'll get a ball in. Chris Bryan has got some Collingwood heritage behind him. His great-grandfather was Ernst Snowy Lumsden. Played 78 games for Collingwood, and his great-uncle was the great Dick Lee. What a champion Collingwood player he was.
Pressure here.
Gibbs. Burns. Didak. Write it down. With 4 seconds left on the clock, number 4 gets his 2nd.
That has been a terrific contest, Liam. I reckon Houlihan and Didak, and I didn't know whether that was the right matchup, but Houlihan's been reasonably close, put him under pressure. I reckon Didak's been scragged a couple of times and probably not been well looked after. He gets on the end of those, almost always puts them away. Very, very important goal to sneak in the dying seconds of the quarter.
And he's getting back too. He's getting better, as he will with time. I mean, obviously coming off a knee reconstruction, but you're right. The real smart forwards just know where to get to the drop of the ball, and they know under pressure how to find the goals.
So the siren ends a magnificent first half here at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Carlton led by 20 points at quarter time. Collingwood fought back in that second term, but the margin stretched back to 19 points. And they get together in the middle. Didak with 2 goals for the quarter for Collingwood. But Brendan Favola, star of the show for Carlton, with 4 goals to half-time. Collingwood 4-11-35. Carlton 8-6-54. Stephen Kernahan. David, you had the pleasure of being involved with Stephen Kernahan over a long period of time, and I know we talk about Nichols and we talk about people like Harry Madden and Craig Bradley, but Stephen Kernahan, what a leader, what a champion.
And probably within the club and also outside, Dwayne, has the respect of the total football community. Yeah. He's had to walk a pretty tough line over the last few years, and I don't think that's been easy for him to handle, but probably, and I had some wonderful leaders when Fitzpatrick and Lee Matthews and people like that, but nobody, I think, in terms of a man's man, has led teams better than Stephen Kernahan.
Well, he captained the team of the century ahead of Big Nick. He's the captain, so that's a fairly good. It's a good indication when you've got someone as revered as John Nichols, and they've gone for sticks. I'll tell you, there's a man that needs to lift for Collingwood. Rocker, being well held by Whitnell. Just 2 possessions in the first half for Anthony.
Perfect afternoon for football, and the second half is underway. Carlton by 19 points, and Fraser with the immediate takeaway towards half forward. Sprinting through from half back, though, with some brilliance is Waite. Lappin. Carazzo. And now to Favola, coming off a 4-goal opening half. Can't mark this one and get a ball in.
Well, that one was, I might be wrong to say this, but was one of the easier ones he had to get his hands on that went straight through.
They started with the same structure as they started the game with. So Harry O'Brien's back on Eddie Betts, and Preston Giacomo's gone to Favola.
Lappin from the ball in, and it's too wide from his boot, out of bounds on the full. You saw Anthony Koutafidis in his first game back this year sitting on the bench, and that man with the Vincatoggio head was actually Paul Bauer. And there's the Collingwood bench, as you saw, as Collingwood movement from the back line. Reece Shaw. Chip wide, Lockyer. And now the long kick. Hoping for Cloak or Rocker. And Whitnell's fist wins out again.
He's been good. He's been good in that role, and he hasn't looked slow in getting to the contest, and he's made the right... He's a fantastic decision maker, and he's done that. Punch or mark, he knows the time and delivers accordingly.
He's such a good reader of the game. He's spot on. He just left Anthony Rocker, knew he wasn't going to get to the contest, and then went and helped his teammate out.
So 2 sets of ruckman. Rocker and Whitnell go at it. Down to Houlihan. Runs away from Didak. To Eddie Betts. Harry O'Brien. Nice mark. Chip. Tough for Lockyer. Good tackle by Bryce Gibbs. No prior opportunity. Ball up. Lee Colbert on the boundary.
Just watching Mark Murphy warm up here on the boundary line. He's starting on the bench, as Sticks Kernahan alluded to, tagged very heavily in the first half. But, just trying to warm up those legs. He copped a couple of big heavy ones early.
Carazzo pushed out. Heads it wide. Tough kick. Pendlebury almost, but thumped it straight to Bentic. And now Walker. Centering kick. Full forward. Favola couldn't get back. And Wakelin. Swan, tough half volley, Lockyer. Fraser calls for it wide, that's ignored. Rocker, that's better. Strong hands, and this is within his range. Loads up from 60, this would get some inspiration going. Good to have you back, Anth.
And Dwayne, that's when you actually back him. When he's outside 50 and he wheels to actually kick without thinking too much about it. I mean, there are a few blokes in the competition who could have delivered the end result then. It's good to see. He outmanoeuvred, led up well, got well above Whitnell. Whitnell couldn't interfere with the mark and wheeled him from, outside 50. It didn't look like missing or not making the distance.
Well, he needed a confidence booster because just the 2 possessions, as I mentioned at half-time, immediately now he's feeling good about himself. He's back in the game. Just the transition of play from the other end. I think it was Wakelin that got the long fist.
Fantastic punch, wasn't it?
That was like a possession. That was like a long handball to it. And all of a sudden they took it from one end of the ground to the other.
Anthony Rocker's first goal for a couple of weeks. Walker Dale Thomas. Didak thought he was going to pounce on it. Walker got it back. O'Halpin. Carazzo. Inboard. Chip kick. Harry O'Brien picked it off though. Carazzo couldn't find the target, and O'Brien has a run. Pendlebury. Heath Shaw. Reece Shaw. Had a chat with their dad at half-time, and he did say they worked together. Josh Fraser.
Yeah, they've got an open forward line here. Just 4 players in there, 2 from each side. Rocker one of them.
The Rockers got 2 to beat here. Tough one. And beats them. Waite and Whitner with him, and Rockers within range again.
Dwayne, you called it. Tough one, and he produced the tough outcome.
Yeah, I think Waite could have done a bit better here, really. I mean, that's not a great score, Parker.
That is terrible. I didn't see that in the play, but in the replay, it looked dreadful.
Well, this would bring the house down. He loads up. Gee, it looks good off the boot. It's coming back. Stumped through on the line. Distance was the worry.
Yeah, it was a little longer than the last one, but it looked good off the boot. Didn't carry.
Houlihan. Russell. In front of Thomas.
And he's one that has to get up and go. Russell's had very little of the ball today, and they need him much better.
Another first-round pick. Jordan Russell, picked 9 back in 2004. Maxwell. Reece Shaw.
We've got some numbers here, the Pies.
Burns. Peels it off to Swan. Runs to 52. He likes it. It's there.
Can we give Reece Shaw a bit? Because Reece Shaw had been a very low position and ineffective player in the first half. I think he's coming off Lappin, off the half-back flank, and when he gets clear, he runs far too quickly for Lappin and set up both the last 2 deliveries in.
Well, it's so important that they use the corridor. And look, it just looks so much more dangerous when you're taking the ball through the centre corridor. You can open up so many opportunities, and Swan picked the right option. There were a couple of short kicks, but I think in the end, the 50 on the run gives them momentum. All of a sudden, the Pies, they've got the crowd involved too now.
Well, and they're getting the result, Liam, for the work and the effort and the setup. They're putting them through the goals.
First 2 goals of the 3rd term for Collingwood, and they're away again. Swan, tackled by Walker, but got the handball away. Russell keeps it in the corridor. Walker. Eddie Betts got the kick away, but it's a wobbler. Thomas with 1 hand. Scotland with 2. Sends it inside 50. Brendan Favola. Prestigiacomo right with him. Ball shuffled out somehow. Reece Shaw's got Pendlebury free. Burns runs on.
He can keep running to 50 here. He can run all the way. No one's coming.
Goes with a centering kick. Tuvey.
Another one who hasn't touched the ball virtually for the day, got himself the right bit, but it's all come from the run-off half-back, hasn't it? But they come from turnovers and free-running backs out of their defensive 50 and set these up. Fantastic footy.
All-Australian under-18 centre half-back, Alan Tuvey. And he's come down and made it 3 in a row for Collingwood. Here they come.
Well, it's a good option by Pendlebury in the finish because he could have run to 50 and had a shot. I thought he was going to be able to run unchecked to about 40, but Whitnell actually left his man and went to him to put some pressure on, forced him to square it up. That's where you want to be shooting for goals, Parker. Yeah. You want to be shooting somewhere in that centre corridor and in the zone there to be having a shot at goal. Well, you had half a chance of kicking goals from there.
No pressure from behind him, and very late in the pressure being applied at the front.
Well, it's a bit of a knock there.
So scores are level. 54 apiece, and we'll start it all over again. Carlton by 20 at quarter time, by 19 at half time. But it's been all Collingwood in this 3rd term. Bentic tied up. It's a new Collingwood. Fraser got it out. Cade Simpson tackled. Swan in the middle of it. Burns. Bentic. Umpire might have to sort it out.
Interesting match-up. Isles, who probably hasn't been on the ground and done all that much, has now got the job on Murphy, and he's just applying himself the task. Not getting off him and trying to win the ball, just making sure he's under duress all the time.
O'Halpin in the ruck. Carazzo, the third man up. Swan should get there first. Betts harassed him. Lappin throws it out in the Betts direction. Boundary line will get a ball in. Eddie Betts on screen. Another one from the great football factory in Port Lincoln, the all-indigenous Mallee Park Club, where he grew up as a junior. Carazzo. Turnover. Johnson. Didak from behind. Ball thumped down by Houlihan. And Russell gave it back to him. Carazzo. Just 15. Houlihan. Didak runs him down. Scotland back to Houlihan. Sizes them up. Gives it to Young from 35. And they get one back. Ross Young, with his first ever goal in AFL football, puts Carlton back in front.
You wonder why coaches take that rebound from 50 stat. I think the last 4 goals have all come about a turnover in a marking from a marking contest, and whoosho, away they go, set up.
I saw a lot of this young bloke at the Northern Bull Ants in the last couple of years in the VFL. He's really worked hard to deserve his opportunity. That's one thing he is. He's a powerful kick and he's a very good finisher. Kicked a lot of goals at VFL level.
And a good coming in at 23, Liam. He's not like the skinny kids who come in at 17. He's got the man's body to deliver the product.
Well, he's a bit like same sort of a scenario as like Pritis at West Coast. You know, those blokes that have already developed and they're ready to take the men's bodies.
Yep.
From the ball up. Fraser down to Swan. Got the clearance. Cloak. Push and shove. Play on advantage. No. Yes. Carlton player stopped. Scores level again.
Is it Didak who put it away?
Yep.
Straight off the ground.
Well, another centre clearance, Collingwood, where Carlton was so good in the first quarter and a half. Swan has just got right on top in the middle. He's up to 20 possessions.
Gee, Carlton players didn't go anywhere.
Yep. Well, the way Big Trav was, the way Big Trav's been kicking today, probably wasn't a bad result to play the advantage to Didak, who we know is a good finisher. They need to start getting some ball out of the centre again, Parker.
Well, the clearances are going to Collingwood in number now.
Halpin jumped early from the ball up. Scotland's got it. High kick to half forward. Lappin was down there. Kurtafiti's now on. Fisher. Walker. 50 from goal. Loops it wide. Carazzo. Goes with the poke pass to the goal square. Favola. Tackled as he collected it. Well played, Prestigiacomo. Ball up.
That was a bad Carazzo kick. I was thinking, what will we do? We put it up, you'll get killed. Put it in front of him, maybe hit it. Wasn't that a bad kick to control it?
Scores level. Carlton a chance to take the lead back. Scotland had it, lost it. Johnson. Burns turned it over. Burns got it back again. Thomas couldn't mark it, so tackles Russell. Ball up.
He's the other player, Scotty Burns, the other player that's putting enormous amount of pressure on the Carlton bodies, the young Carlton bodies in the centre of the ground. So Swan and also Burns have both been terrific with their attack around the ball.
O'Halpin and Fraser. Burns, as you mentioned, Liam, got the takeaway, but to Houlihan. Goes with a long kick. Getting back, Heath Shaw in front of Favola. Solid hands from Heath Shaw. He knew anything could have been coming. Finds Swan. Fraser, just over his head. And well played by Waite. He left his man. Takes it out of play.
It's a great little contest from two aspiring young players. Russell for Carlton playing directly on Thomas now, half back, half forward. It's a great contest within this game.
Fraser and O'Halpin. Thomas third man up. Russell had it but lost it. Little push. No free for Murphy. Russell caught. Almost threw that away. Carazzo high to the wing. Kurtafiti's down there. Wakeland. Walker. Fraser. Kurtafiti's. O'Brien. Tackled. Magnificent contest to watch. Lockyer gets the kick away. And O'Halpin was called out by Carazzo, who takes the saving mark. Possession number 19 coming up.
Ben Johnson's gone to Mark Murphy. We know he was so dangerous in the first quarter. And Benny Johnson's really struggled across half forward. Probably a good way to get him into the game as well.
Gibbs. Just the long bomb. Bryan from 4 deep takes the mark. There's a free. And it'll go Collingwood's way regardless. Wakeland. You're held by Koutafidis.
Yeah, they need someone to break laterally here. They're in trouble here, Collingwood.
They are in trouble. The turnover. O'Halpin threads the handball through to Vavola. He's got 4. Spins it around the body. That's way wide and maybe a little selfish. And the crowd gives it to the Fev.
I mean, that's Heroes type stuff, isn't it?
Not too many players can bend it around the body from 50. You have to have a powerful leg to do that.
The powerful mind that thinks you can.
Isles got it from Lockyer. Gives it to O'Brien. Long kick hoping for Johnson. Front spot. Gets there.
Yeah, he'll wheel onto his left and get it in the corridor here.
The leads come. Didak's short. Got Rocker longer. Whitner looks around. Front spot. Got one to the ear for his trouble. Dick. Cloak. Holland. O'Brien. Caught. 50 from goal. Bryan couldn't get a handball out. O'Brien still in there. It's a tough, tight, hard contest, and scores are still level.
Pretty hard for you to call, I think, Dwayne, in the sense that the ball keeps changing hands. There's no flow on and multiple possession from side. It just goes from one to the other. It's like a cracker.
It's a privilege to be here. 80,000 fans, and we're all on the edge of our seats. And the ball up. Murphy, kick not good. Maxwell, tough for Lockyer. Almost, it is a mark. Not paid. Tucked up against the pocket, Dick caught. Still in dispute. Whitnell got it out to Murphy. About to be run down, kick away, Scotland. But a kind bounce. Houlihan. Long kick towards the wing. Young, Harry O'Brien, Wakeland. Heath Shaw, boundary line. All in.
He's such a good player, Heath Shaw. He's just become so confident. If we have a look at this mark, well, you're probably entitled to pay that, and even a little bit around the neck. But I like the way Heath Shaw's just reading the game at half back. He's leaving his man when he has to and helping out, but also reading the game to the stage where he can get in front of his opponent.
Carazzo, takes them on, got the handball out, Scotland. Sends it long, hoping for Cade Simpson. It's all about how it bounces for him. It holds up. Isles chases him down, shrugs the tackle to put the Blues back in front. They lead by a goal.
Oh, it's exciting stuff, and you've got to give Cade Simpson a job. I thought he struggled through last year, and his career wasn't probably developing in the way that Carlton people would have hoped. But gee, he's been a fine player from go to woe this year, and that is a bit of maturity, a bit of strength to get rid of him, a bit of knowledge where you are, acceleration to get away, and this lovely, clean left foot finish. Beautiful to watch.
Certainly was. Another player involved in that passage of play, Carazzo, was pretty important on the centre wing under some pressure. Tried a little fancy balk and it worked.
Turned 23 years of age this week, Cade Simpson, in game number 50 this afternoon. 66 plays 60. Bryan in the ruck against his old team. Got a fingernail on it. Carazzo, O'Brien's over him. Oh, he's calling for the free and he gets it, holding the ball.
So he dragged it back in. There's the indication from the umpire. Because they've been pretty lenient today with those with the balls in the contested situation. Here's Rocker.
O'Brien wide. Rocker's going to come crunching through. And he's within range. He can tie the scores up yet again. He's got one this term. Loads up. That's nice off the boot. That's out of here.
Dwayne, and it's interesting because he didn't quite make the difference from almost the idea. He did take a bit longer to kick the first one. Wheeled on this one, let it go. It landed in the third row of the grandstand. Distance was no problem at all, and accuracy was absolutely spot on.
Well, we've got to look at that free kick. I think it was scooped back in by O'Brien in under Carazzo, but what a skill to have a player that can go back from 65 metres with a drop punt. Now that takes a lot of pressure off.
And for a bloke who's been very, very average in the first half in all aspects of his game, is now becoming a match winner.
Well, he's the one player, isn't it? The two players you think that can play this game apart, I should say, are Favola, who's gone quiet. They've got the matchup right down there. And also Rocker, who certainly looks like he's on fire again.
Carlton free kick from the ball up. Scores level again. Ackland. With Barnaby French's old job, doing it in Barnaby French's old number. Number 11, Kane Ackland gets it to half forward. Bentic, caught by Johnson, got it out. Just in time, Kurtafides left it behind. Tunnel ball from Thomas to Swan. To the wing. Drew a ball in.
It's been an interesting contest at centre-half, back centre-half forward, hasn't it? With Cloak and Waite. I mean, I thought Waite dominated earlier, then Cloak's fought back, and now Waite's done a couple of very good things in the last few minutes.
Dennis Pagan with Brett Ratton, Tony Liberatore and Craig Bradley around him. Bentic. Good tackle, Burns. Umpire allowed play on, no free. Spearing kick from Kurtafides. O'Halpin, ridden a little. Pendlebury. This is a tough one. Swan. Holland. Long kick, hoping for Rocker. Whitnell's with him. Rocker got a hand on it, but he got a push.
Just with the one arm.
Is he within range again?
Cool, this will be testing him, wouldn't it?
Well within his range. Easy. Lay back.
The crowd want him to go for it. It's a long ball. It won't go all the way. Getting back, Saddington.
He changed the torpedo punt halfway through the kick.
Yeah, he knew he wasn't quite in range.
Cade Simpson, Scotland. 66 apiece. 21 minutes gone, third term, Bentic. And now Whitnell, who can play on here. To half forward.
Oh, that's a free.
That's a push to Lappin. Umpire says no, play on. Says that he played for it. Young, he was pushed, and there's the evener upper for the crowd.
That is definitely a square up. That's definitely a square up. Now let's have a look at this. Oh, please. I mean, he might have milked it.
Long to the goal square, and is there a free? No, it's a behind. Preston Giacomo and Brendan Favola tangling up. They're still tangled.
Well, he might have milked it, but in a sense, he was just letting the umpire know that this had actually happened, and it did happen.
Tough one for Harry O'Brien with the one hand. Fraser. Acton made him earn it.
Yeah, that's 50. Because whilst that used to be you used to be able to do that, make him earn it. You can't do it now if you're not actually there when the mark's contested or taken, I should say.
What's he do? What are they
Well,
do? It does nothing except give 50. It didn't hurt him. It didn't interfere with him. It doesn't stop him. Just a stupid 50-metre penalty.
It's a good 50. Centering kick to Didak.
Great kick.
Didak can line up at number 4 and give Collingwood back the lead.
There was some brilliant bit of play there. You may not have picked up on the bottom of the screen, but Dale Thomas just taking his opponent out. See the little block there on Saddington?
Perfect.
There was no way he could have got back to help out. And look at Didak now. Should be able to finish this for his 4th. Very, very smart play, Dale Thomas.
In just his 2nd game of the year. Won the best and fairest last year. And his best in front of goal today. He's got 4. Collingwood have the lead back.
What's good about the comment you made, Lehman, picking that up, and I didn't, was the young bloke, Thomas, even though at the moment he's not being a massive impact possession-wise, which has been his go, he's such a creative, ball-winning player, to be able to have in your mind and do that as a natural consequence means that he's the full package coming. You know?
Yeah, certainly really smart play.
And done with such subtlety too. Just fantastic.
Well, young players that are playing forward now, they've got to be really tuned into the game. They've got to know their role. It's like those quickies that need to really put the pressure on defensively.
That's the other part of it. It's so hard to create space and get your mate free that those things are gold.
From the ball up, Ackland in the ruck now against Fraser. Good tackle by Bauer. Get another ball up.
She's a good game of footy.
Terrific.
Ackland and Fraser tie up again, and she umpires Steve McBurney from a long way away.
I think against Kurtafidis.
To Pendlebury.
What are they doing here?
Oh, it's Kurtafidis is free.
Well, I'll tell you what's happened now.
Boys,
They've all ran forward, so if the umpire gives it back quickly to Kurtafidis, he's going to bounce it.
I don't understand, but it's a cancel it out. One each, so definitely one free kick each, so now it's a ball up.
Gee, that's strange.
It is, I've never seen that before.
And you've seen a few games. Pendlebury, he gets it regardless. To Fraser, to Thomas. He can have a shot from 45. Took the bounce, didn't really need it, but used it anyway.
I call that the football gods. When you do team things, whether it's chasing, tackling, or in the case of Dale Thomas, he was setting up Alan Dido for his goal. Sometimes the ball just finds its way to you, and this is what's happened. He's able to get forward there. Oh, he's an exciting young player. It's a good finish too.
Oh, it's beautiful to watch. Beautiful to watch. A young player with so much confidence in his second year of football, just doing the complete thing. Now, I'll certainly go back to that. It was a definite free kick to Kurtafidis at the centre, which one umpire gave. The other umpire came in and called a definite free kick to a Collingwood player. And I reckon between the two of them, they said, well, that equals that, let's ball it up. I might be wrong, but I love an explanation. This is when you want to be able to talk to the umpires to find out what's happened.
5 minutes from three-quarter time. Fraser doing it all. Ruck work, the tackling. And two of the stars of the show this afternoon have been picks 1 and 2 in that 2005 draft. Dale Thomas and Mark Murphy turning it on. And Collingwood in this third term, irrepressible. Whitnell against Rocker.
How good was Whitnell then?
Simpson. Scotland. And Heath Shaw dropping back in front of Favoa. Drops the mark. Got a little push from Young. Fisher picked it up. Young collects it again. Misses.
Did all the hard work then, Heath Shaw, and dropped the mark, which was unlike him.
Heath Shaw played on quickly. Fumbled it across the goal square line. Maxwell towards Isles. Kept his eye on the ball. Sam Isles, who they took in the pre-season draft instead of Scott Camporelli. Collingwood decided to go with a youngster with a future. Saddington.
It's moving all right, Saddington.
Yeah,
he's missed a lot of footy.
Has.
A year under his belt now at Carlton.
Murphy. Possession number 21 coming up for Mark Murphy. Bauer. Carazzo. Back to Bauer. Boundary line, the sanctuary for him. Caught by Cloak. Collingwood portion of the crowd, one ball. Don't get it.
He kept that about. He's a skinny kid. They were picking him up and throwing around, but he sort of kept the ball under control and finished up getting a dead ball, which is the win for Carlton in that situation.
Fraser, half held, and gets the free kick. Josh Fraser. Lee Colvin on the boundary line.
I've got an answer for you, David, regarding that decision earlier by the two umpires.
Yes,
they actually cancelled each other out. There was a free kick to Ackland Carlton and a free kick to Pendlebury, and they cancelled each other out and threw it up.
They've got a lot more forward line, Collingwood. They were a little bit stagnant. Even though they dominated the play in the second quarter, there wasn't the movement there is now. So anytime the ball's outside 50, there's a number of options that they can go to.
Kurtafidis to Walker, into trouble. Burns raked it free. O'Brien, Lockyer from the pocket, bouncing ball, eludes Dick. Behind.
I want to know whether Lee Colbert's mic'd up to the umpires.
Well,
was that his observation?
He's always been very friendly with the umpires.
Well, they didn't pay him that mark when he was playing for Geelong and Adelaide.
Don't bring it up, Dwayne.
Okay. Walker. Well, it might be 50. No. He got the elbow into the face and that evened that up as well. Kurtafidis. Inside 3 minutes to three-quarter time. It's been a magnificent game to watch. Walker to Saddington. Long disposal. Lappin's direction. Reece Shaw, Lappin, Reece Shaw. Young with a smother.
Did well.
To Carazzo. Favola calls for it long.
Whitnell's on.
Looks a handball over the top instead. Wait, all the way from full back. It was worth the wait. He's got his first.
Well, they've stood up a bit. I think the good thing about both of these teams this year, they're never done. They keep coming back at you. They keep at you. And they haven't necessarily played all that well, but they've never, ever tossed it in. Unlike some other teams I've seen this year, they've just kept at it, and most times have been rewarded.
Do you know the interesting point about that was Wade kicked the goal playing across half-back. Whitnell was on near the goal square, so they've obviously made the decision, right, we're going to take these blokes down the ground a little bit because they've been dangerous, obviously, the Collingwood forwards, but Whitnell trying to drag Rocker up the ground and Wade doing the same thing.
And they're both back in their back half now.
Ball up, 2 minutes from three-quarter time. Burns. How will this bounce? Didak about to pounce. Left it. Went back, got it. Gave to Lockyer. Miss.
Well, poor effort by Houlihan, who went through then. When Didak came back onto the ball, Houlihan went out the back and had a good look at it. Very poor effort. Coach would be very unpleased.
Ryan Houlihan, the man on screen, one of the famous Houlihan four brothers who've been on AFL lists. Finds Kennedy.
Good mark by Kennedy.
Scott Walker. He goes longer to Saddington. Oh, behind Walker with the handball. Long bomb. Lappin. Use of the body. Nice mark. He can kick it from there.
Going back to Saddington, that's been a bit of his problem. You know, he can put string four or five complete acts of play together, and then a loose hand pass like that almost cost this opportunity to score.
Yeah, such a different position to be attacking from if you had to hit the target.
Lappin lines up to draw, scores, level, that was never in doubt.
And interesting enough, young Reece Shaw has immediately been removed in that particular contest. And Lapp's very good overhead. Never ever doubt Lappin's ability to climb up and create that sort of an opportunity.
That's just sloppy. Maybe a little bit of a tired effort by Saddington. He pushed back hard here, Reece Shaw. He pushed back hard, just got outstretched in the finish.
And the versatility of young Thomas, he's now back in the half-back line.
Yeah. Well, that's what you want from your players.
Oh, that's super. I reckon they have the confidence at this stage of a big game like this. Super.
80 plays 80. They led by 19 points at half-time, Carlton. 1 minute from three-quarter time, the ball up. Swan with the takeaway. It's a wide ball. Carlton two players front spot. It was a terrible miss from Russell. Lockyer. And now Bryan in the pocket. 3 goals in the third term last week against Adelaide to turn that game. This kick to give Collingwood back the lead for three-quarter time.
A good kick by Tarka Lockyer too. And now this is a better spot for him to be kicking. We saw him from the wrong side for a left footer. This with his natural hook should really be able to drag it from left to right here.
He kicked 4 1/4, didn't he, the other night? 4 1/2, and you reckon he has to get this one.
Nice off the boot, swings back but misses.
Collingwood's work at the centre bounce in this quarter in particular, as we see Mick Moldhouse down there, a bit red in the face, Mick. They've been sensational.
Just needs to hold this mark, Carazzo.
12-11 the clearances for the quarter, but it's been the centre bounce work at Collingwood that's given them first use inside 50.
Three-quarter time here at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Started this game in bright sunshine under blue skies. A crowd somewhere in the vicinity of 80,000 here for these two great rivals, Collingwood and Carlton. And it was the Blues who opened up a 20-point lead at quarter time. They led by 19 points at half time. Collingwood, with that man on screen, Alan Didak, kicking 2 goals in the second and 2 goals in the third term. Fighting back, Brendan Favola also with 4 goals for the game, but none in that third term. Big final quarter coming up here at the G. Collingwood by a point, 11-15 to 12-8. Occasions don't get much bigger and margins don't get much smaller. Collingwood by a point at three-quarter time, 11-15-81 to 12-8-80. Didak and Favola, the stars of the show so far. Didak with 4 goals, 2 in the second, 2 in the third. And Brendan Favola's 4 goals all came in the opening half. And Swan and Carazzo, the leading possession getters for their respective teams, gentlemen.
Well, it was a big quarter. We said at half-time that the player that really needed to stand up was for Collingwood was Anthony Rocker, and he did that. He got a really strong mark early, banged one from 55, 60 metres, got another one, and got him going a little bit. I reckon gave their other forwards a bit of a lift as well. They seem to be moving a lot better. The player that's really, I think their work in the centre bounce, Parker, was fantastic, especially with Swan and also Scotty Burns.
Well, Swan's statistics in that sort of overall picture when it's 9-6 in favour of Collingwood. It's not a massive number, obviously low-scoring game. And Swan's been in for, he's got 4 of those out individually himself in the
centre bounces.
In the centre bounces, but in that one quarter, which to me, is a significant event because it was so tough and so tight in there. If you're going to get a significant outlet from there, you're going to be in good position.
These two teams playing for the Peter Mac Cup. Collingwood, the reigning Peter Mac Cup holder, after winning both contests between these two clubs last year. And if you'd like to make your donations for research into cancer treatment, 1800 111 440 or www.petermac.org. And they are great occasions. Carlton battles.
Oh, they are. And I must admit, I've been. I can't sit down, and I've been sweating. And that's the first time I can remember in the commentary box in a game where the game has actually got to me and emotionally in that sense. And I can't pick a winner. I mean, you get emotionally bound by who's playing. I thought Collingwood before the game would win. I thought they might have kicked themselves out of it early. But you'd have to say they've probably done it better since half-time in terms of setting up and then delivering the final score on the board.
I agree. But those 2 late goals that they got in the third quarter will take some momentum into the start of this last quarter. Now, I reckon the first goal will tell the story here about this game. I know it's been seesawing a little bit, but the first goal will be crucial.
A man coaching against his old club, Gavin Krasiska, is downstairs with Lee Colbert.
Gav, they really came at you in that third quarter, but you were able to settle late in the quarter.
Look, the first 10 or 15 minutes, Big Rocket got out and took a few marks on Red, but we settled and, look, hopefully the guys can continue on with the way they've been going because they've been pretty hard at it so far.
And you had a message to Andrew Walker for the last quarter.
Oh, look, he's just got to relax a little bit. He's taken a whole lot on board and he just needs to relax and probably play his normal game, which is just running with the footy, which he hasn't done so.
Beautiful, mate. All the best.
Those two boys would have played on each other a couple of times. Lee Colbert and Gavin Krasiska, one of the great defenders for the Magpies. And this has been a spectacular contest for 3 quarters. Collingwood lead by a point, heading into the final term. And it's Fraser and O'Halpin again in the ruck. And the umpire will have a secondary ball up.
Well, that's a huge ask, because young Walker's in fact got cloak. He only gives him about a metre. So that'll be an interesting one. If he runs, you've got to run off him.
Carazzo, third man up, thumps it all the way to half forward. Favola got a toe on it. So did Fisher. Pendlebury had it. Holland. Maxwell, good hands. Rocker leads. It's in his direction. Bryant's there as well.
Got it.
Back of the pack. Thought about kicking it off the deck instead of picking it up himself. And kicks it behind.
I'd have to ask the question why. I'm not sure what his decision, what he thought he could do with that. He might have been Maradona at his best, but it was never going to happen.
Well, not too sure. Who's the greatest Croatian soccer player that ever lived? That's where his heritage lies.
Two dumb blokes looking at each other without an answer.
Yeah, no, probably not my forte.
Fair enough. Bentic, Pendlebury, Fraser, Harry-O.
He's on again here, Didak.
Saddington gets back in the hole. Houlihan. Danger. Swan cuts it off. Johnson. Hammer to Bryan. Tucked into the pocket. Centering kick is terrible. Over the head of Cloak. Straight to Walker. And Carlton away on the outer side. Wow. Although it doesn't bounce too kindly for Scotland, and he's not happy.
And neither he should be, because when you've got a break like that, he needed to actually punch through his kick. He kicked it off the back foot, and I tell you what goes from they could have been attacking. It could have been inside 50 by now.
Rocker and Whitnell do the ruck work. Carazzo. Murphy's had a very good game. Fisher, also a good game in his first game back from that cheekbone problem. Now Favola. Hardly seen it in this second half. Prestigiacomo has worn him well.
We were talking about matchups and how they settled after a week's discussion on a particular structure, and then 10 minutes of the game they changed it. But they all came back after half-time exactly where they were in the first half.
They've got Waite forward now, Carlton, which I think is a good move. I really think they can give him you can give a bit of help to Favola up there in a marking capacity.
Gibbs with a fist. Russell, boundary line.
And that's why, of course, Walker's now back looking after Cloak, because they're one tall short.
Well, I think you just got to actually take a bit of a punt.
Win the game.
Short throw in O'Halpin, but knocked it down to Holland. Caught. Bentic. Scotland. Simpson. Runs to 50. Acute angle. He goes for home. And Wakeland gets back last line of defence. That was through. Shane Wakeland on the line.
It's got to be a point.
In, and that's a behind. He's called to play on.
Has to be a point.
And it's a one-point ball game.
In a game like this, a point is the difference.
I'd love to see his footwork again, whether he actually had come back into play and then stepped back out again.
Well, he was just called to play on. He used up his time.
Yeah, I guess he had.
Bit of a cramp in the groin, maybe.
To himself and then Long. Prestigiacomo from behind takes the mark. Outmark Favola. Tuvi's wide. Got it. Chased by Murphy. That's a magnificent tackle. Mark Murphy's game this afternoon has been sensational. 23 possessions now. Chip kick towards Fisher. Wakeland again. Howler bounce for Maxwell kindly. Pendlebury. Lappin's got him. Reece Shaw. They've turned it over. Reece Shaw. No, Swan. They can regroup. Maxwell. Good pressure from the Blues. Harry O'Brien. Coming hard. Wait. Knocked it down. Eddie Betts left it behind. Tuvey to Isles. And now Thomas. Fraser. Over the top. He's got Fraser. He can have the shot to make it a 7-point lead. Fraser's got his second.
There was a tough moment for Harry O'Brien in the middle there, and I thought he might have let his teammates down, but in fact his teammates came back in numbers to cover for him when he'd actually not committed himself in the way that they would have liked.
There's a passage of play across half-back where they mucked around with it a bit, the pies, they overdid the handball, but what they did in effect by doing that was they actually got the ball back into centre-half-back, in the true centre-half-back position, and that's where that little bit of a contested 50-50 ball, if you like, once it spilled out, they had numbers everywhere. Sometimes you've got to take a punt.
Oh, you got it.
2 goals for Josh Fraser. Synchronicity with him and his coach as well there. First games coincided for Collingwood, as did Ben Johnson. Played his first game for them that day as well. Good mark for Maxwell. Gets the kick away in Fraser's direction. Can't take the mark. O'Halpin. Boundary line his friend if he wants it. Gibbs. Scotland. It's around Burns. Murphy. Coming hard, Isles. Murphy wraps him up. Swan. Gibbs. Nice tackle by the youngster. Doesn't get rewarded. Isles. It's a spirited contest at the moment. Once again, Gibbs tries to break through. Now Bentic. Now Carazzo with some space. Shut down, but got the kick away. Inside 50, rolling back towards the goal line. Tuvey can take it out. Keeps it alive. And the free. He gets the free as Eddie Betts was pouncing. And 50. Gee.
Very important part of this game. I'll tell you what, the next goal of Collingwood here, and Carlton, they look a bit dead on their feet at the moment.
Tuvey to Reece Shaw. Lead comes from Cloak. He's got it. They're far out to score, which is probably a good thing. Rocker's on the move. He just sends a high bomb. Didak's got out to fly against 4. Thomas also flew. Houlihan, Carazzo. Bentic, Simpson. Back into the corridor. Favola a long way down. Simpson threads the handball through. Favola got it from Bentic. Wobbles it towards half forward. Eddie Betts spins it around. It's high towards the square. Getting back Maxwell. 88 plays 81. From one end to the other. Collingwood rising though. Burns to Lockyer to Didak. Thomas is short. Swan. Rocker's on the lead. He's got it.
He'll keep running here, Swan. He just settled here, won't he?
Oh, no, but
55.
Yeah, I think this is right on his mark. But the run of Collingwood at the moment, they really are carrying the ball beautifully. Carlton don't seem to have the same intensity in the run.
He's already got 2. That won't make the distance. Cloak, 3 jump against him. Scotland takes on Pendlebury. Kicks toward Fisher. O'Halpin over the top. Fraser's chasing him. Patana bounces away. Takes them all on. Runs into trouble. Gone.
Well, he's only new at the game, really. He hasn't been playing a long time, but he didn't get a lot of help from his forwards, I can tell you now. When he's looking out for someone to kick to, they'd already led.
I remember another Irishman making a mistake about there. Jim Steins. Gary Buckenara kicked that goal. Tuvey. Terrible kick for Vola. Oh, he nearly played on. He did play on. Betts. Simpson. Waits there, waiting inside 50. Waits still waiting. And he doesn't go and get it. Tuvey with the handball out. Young dives in. Johnson. Umpire will ball it up. 88 plays 81. Played 10 minutes. Final term. Massive crowd in here at the G. And not one of the 80-odd thousand has moved. Bryan down to Bentic. Caught. Lockyer. Swan. Thomas. Gathers but is caught.
Pressure by Simpson.
And kick out of bounds on the full. Great pressure. It's caused the turnover.
He is the one player that really looks like he's still got the ability to run and carry the footy at the moment. Young Cade Simpson. He's prepared still to take a bit of a risk and prepared to run the lines.
Houlihan to Carazzo to Walker. Held up.
And that's what Walker has to do too.
Yep.
It's the only chance he's got on the big bloke. Get up the ground off him.
Low trajectory kick to Kennedy and he falls. He's short. Kennedy runs him down. Long kicking, Cloak's direction. Bounce kindly. No one's in the goal square. Centering kick. Rocker!
Well, that was a big decision by Red. He left Rocker. Rocker wasn't coming over to make numbers for his mate. Got over to assist Walker, who was under enormous pressure from Cloak, and left Rocker totally and utterly by himself. Probably a little bit close to be confident.
Yeah, well, he's been a good contributor in the second half, Anthony Rocker, because he was well beaten, as we know, in the first half.
Has led for most of the afternoon. Collingwood has never led by as much as 13 points. And they don't lead by 13 now. He's missed.
Well, he summed it up, Parko.
Always worried when he's within 30 or 40 metres of goal.
They lead by 8. Scotland. It's held up in the back pocket. Centering kick is okay. Russell. Saddington peels off for him. Carazzo. He's caught. Not quite. Bryce Gibbs. Carazzo. Over the head of Favola. Lappin can't get a run at it. Still in dispute. Waite. Got a kick away with the wrong side of the boot. Isles. Pendlebury. Maxwell. And now Swan can run out wide. Rocker calls for it long. It's short to Dick. 60 from goal. Anthony says, give it to me long. Punched away by Whitnell. Still in dispute. Coming through Wakeland. He's never kicked a goal for Collingwood. He has now.
Drano.
You called it early today, and he's followed through to.
It's his 125th game for the Magpies. And Shane Wakeland, all the way from fullback, snares the goal.
You couldn't have written that, Dwayne. You mentioned it before the game, and he's crumbed it like he's been doing it all his life.
Well, I thought he must have worked his way down there, but in fact, I must have missed that one. He's snuck into the front half. He's got weight playing on him at this stage.
Well, he did play 94 games and kicked 19 goals for the Saints as well.
Okay, what happened last time the ball went inside 50 for Carlton? Favola led short. You can see him at the start, and I mean, come on. You can't do that. If you're a key forward and you don't get used, he needed to wheel around then. And what happened? The ball was rushed out the other side. Now, people have been critical of him for that exact reason, but he needs to be better than that, Brendan Favola.
O'Brien, Thomas, O'Brien. Wakeland waiting for it again. Can't get there. Saddington the saving mark. 14 points. Plenty of time. Scotland out wide. Ackland. Good hands. Had the reach on Swan. Brendan Favola. 4 goals to half-time, the Fev. None since. O'Brien.
Yeah, but it's just frustrating, Dwayne. You know, as I say, you can't get every ball directed to you, and if you don't get used, he needs to still be in the contest. He completely took himself out of the contest again. That's 3 games in a row.
Rocker. Johnson. Tripped.
Yep, there is a thing called flawed genius, and he's almost fitting that category.
Houlihan in front of Didak. Lappin. A long way from where he'd like to be.
It's where they're going to create their run from here. I don't mind this. Get it into the corridor.
Scotland towards Kennedy.
That's the problem.
Clear.
Hit though.
Dick. O'Brien. Cloak's calling for it. He's got it. He could not possibly miss from there. Travis Cloak has kicked 4 behinds this afternoon. He has kicked 4 goals, 15 this season.
Yeah, that's the problem. As I say, the benefit is going in the corridors. It's easy to attack. The disadvantage is if you turn it over. This is what can happen.
The biggest kick of his year. And he's got it when it counts most. They lead by 20.
The better team, I guess, now is surfaced on the scoreboard. I think they were for most part in general play, but their run-off half-back, the cause of the turnovers, you're quite right, have dictated their first possession coming out of defence, having run and carried into the corridor, which then gives you the total picture or display in anywhere within the corridor on either side for the options that you actually create. Coming wide certainly makes it difficult to through the goals, but it also dissipates the number of options you're going to be able to use on the way in.
101 plays 81. We've played 17 minutes final term. Ton of time left. Kurtafidis, Scotland, who's been gallant. Got the kick away. Simpson thumps it down. Thomas, Simpson again. The lead comes to the pocket. Young is down there for the Blues, beaten for it by Heath Shaw. Tarkenlock here. And they can smell it now, Collingwood. Reece Shaw. Cloak. On the second grab. Rocker waiting for it back in the goal square. O'Brien instead. Wakeland and Rocker still in the goal square. Back to Cloak. In the pocket. See, after 4 behinds to start the game, it's a handy time if you can kick 2 in a row to make it 26 points and just about shut the gate.
He's taken 10 marks this afternoon, Travis Cloak. He's presented well. Just needs to finish off his work. Not the best position to be kicking for goal, but he has worked hard.
Now Rise has won, the Collingwood fans.
Oh.
I think they're home.
This was, I think, prior to the day, going to be an important time for Collingwood in this traditional clash that being expected to win, and they haven't in all the games this year. I think they've started as underdogs a lot more than we, anticipated. And then to deliver against that, having got off to, a good start without kicking the goals, we've said a dozen times today, then to come home with the sail behind them and do it very, very confidently, efficiently. I think they'll walk away today saying, well, they threw everything at us, less talent may be, but we've actually, put up with this pretty well and delivered a good result.
Well, they've been very impressed with their kids this afternoon, I think, too. Worked into the game very well.
Ball not down to O'Brien. Sends it long. Rocker and Whitnall. Lance with the bump. It was legal. Russell with the crumb. Scotland, who hasn't stopped trying. Holland. First game of the year. Suspended for the first 6 weeks after that rough conduct charge in last year's elimination final. And Brodie Holland sends it wide to Dick. Centering ball. Didak. 4 goals, tries to kick a miracle, kicks it over the top. Cloak's got 3. 3 in the last quarter.
Isn't that the one he practiced earlier? He got the free kick against him. He did the little hook over the top earlier. That's just to show that he can do it again.
Have a look at how quickly he gets ball to boot there. He didn't even have a chance to smother. I mean, that was just a fluke that it ended up in Travis Cloak's hands. But
he might have heard the call.
But just how quick he gets it onto his... That is very clever. That's a good skill to have. We know he's a sort of a freakish player, but Cloak now getting his just desserts for a pretty hard-working game at centre-half forward. He didn't early because he was missing his opportunities, but sometimes, as I say, the luck turns your way if you keep working hard, and he's been very good.
His brother Cameron not playing for Carlton today. Had that shoulder ripped from the socket during the week. Couldn't take his place in the game. And they've missed him. He's been a good performer, Cameron, for them this year. O'Brien. 6 minutes to go. Tackled by Betts, but there's a free.
It's opening up here. This is the danger for Carlton.
Towards Lockyer. Front spot, Bryce Gibbs.
You'd hate to see them, Parko. All of a sudden, Collingwood kick 4, or if you're a Carlton supporter, 4 or 5 quick goals, and it ends up blowing out to a margin that it really never was throughout the course of the game.
Yep. People will forget the great contest we had for the majority of time.
Simpson got it from Carazzo. Whitnall's been pushed forward now. They need goals, and he might give them one here. Last roll of the dice. Carlton need all their big guns up front. Lappin. Big spoil. It was a legal spoil as well. Reece Shaw left Maxwell's handball behind. Young. Favola's lurking. Can't take the mark. Prestigiacomo. And we'll get a ball up. Brendan Favola, 4 goals to half-time, none since. Simon Prestigiacomo has shut him down. Silent assassin. Prestigiacomo lurking to get a possession. Fraser's there. Pendlebury. Burns. Reece Shaw. No one to go to. The boundary line is only win here. Simpson. Burns wraps him up. Pendlebury. Well played, Scotty Burns. Fraser or Rocker. Take your pick for Collingwood. Rocker will do.
Now Cloak one out here.
Gets the kick towards half forward. Josh Fraser spent. Jordan Russell gets there. Left it behind. Fraser to Dick. He might go all the way. From 48. Spears it to Lockyer. Goal! That's as good as it gets.
And that's once again the sign of, I think, a forward line that works as a team. Young Dick, he's entitled again. He was entitled to have a shot then. He's on the run. He's got the speed. He knows he's got a bit of space. That is as good a kick as you would get. Laces out the Tarka Lockyer. That's how you want your delivery.
And he's done a little bit. The Tuvey Dick company were fairly light on in the first half, have contributed pretty consistently in the second half.
And Tarka Lockyer on screen from WA. When he said to his mum he was nominating for the draft, she said, that's fine, as long as you don't end up going to Collingwood. And there is young Dick on screen, and he's got great heritage as well, Brad Dick. Former Carlton star Sid Jackson is his uncle on his mother's side, so he knows all about the oval ball game. Young off the side, only a behind.
I think the sad part of that was Jordan Russell's effort on the boundary line. He ran clean over the top of the ball prior to it popped up for Fraser just to have an easy one, and that should never ever have been allowed.
Eddie Betts. Handball to Favola. Goes with the soccer option. Wakelin. Solid as ever. Back in defence again. Harry O'Brien. To Lockyer. To Burns. 3 minutes from a big ovation from the Collingwood fans who've seen their team come from 20 points down at quarter time to win this one. There's been a star performer, Dale Thomas, to Cloak, who's kicked 3 goals in this final term to be the match winner. Speaking of father-sons. Sends it long. Rocker. Ackland. Rocker can't bring it down for the mark. Toe poke by Houlihan. Get a ball in.
Look, whilst Collingwood have been good, the Blues haven't tossed it in. They've kept at it, within the limits. I don't think there's been a showing of the white flag at any time.
Ackland against him, Brian. Dick. Beaten for it by Scotland. Nowhere to go. Holland chases him down. Wait. 2.5 minutes to full time. Whitnell gets one on Wakelin. Handballs to the umpire. Jordan Russell. Carazzo, who's fought hard for 4 quarters. Back to Russell. He can get himself a consolation prize.
Great kick.
He's nailed it.
Well, he's against my criticism. He's come back and got in a good position. Worked hard to forward. He had to go 60 or 70 metres from the half-back line to get into the 50. Gathered in space, turned, and it looked a very competent execution.
Well, he's the sort of player Carlton need going forward. Jordan Russell. Gibbs and Murphy are highly regarded, both being, especially Murphy was terrific, especially early. 22 possessions this afternoon.
Disappeared a bit, hasn't he, Liam? Murph's got a bit quiet.
Well, he gets bashed.
Yeah, he does. He certainly does.
They physically attack Mark Murphy to a stage where I just think he struggles to run out games at the moment. And he's such a brave player.
From the ball up, Brian. Kicked to half forward. Dick couldn't get there to mark. Put himself under pressure. Houlihan. Wait. Cade Simpson. Swan with the fist. And they'll be content to see it out. Mark Murphy wasn't on that list from Jeff Geeshan during the week of pure ball players who need some protection.
Well, he might have to add him.
He might. Dale Thomas was certainly on it, and he goes for this ruck contest. Dale Thomas down towards Didak, keeps it alive. Johnson, Rocker,
good play.
Didak.
Oh, it's got him for a throw.
Inspirational again.
He's pinged him for a throw.
Okay.
It was clever. When I say he's been bashed, I don't mean that in a way that it's been untoward. I mean, he's being physically tested as a young player, and that's why I felt that when Carlton went into his aid when he got the heavy knock in the second quarter, or just before quarter time, I should say, I think that was a good sign because I think he needs to get some protection from the older players.
Houlihan towards Whitnell. Down low, couldn't mark it. Murphy, Isles, Wakeland, Heath Shaw. Ben Johnson will raise the Peter Mac Cup for this victory for Collingwood as captain this afternoon. Beaten for it this time by Houlihan. Bentic. Into trouble. Gets out of it. Simpson. Inside a minute. He sends it long in the direction of Lappin, who takes the mark in the darkness.
It is getting dark out there.
I haven't turned the lights on this afternoon.
Yes. I think Stephen Goff's saving the power in the frequency.
So he kicks this. It's a 4-goal game, basically. It's probably about the margin between the two sides, I reckon. Yeah.
Right.
So Lappin to make it 3 to his name misses. Big crowd in, 77,000 plus. We said that it was close to 80 just looking at it. Last year, the two crowds for these games were 59,000 and 57,000. So they've really turned out to watch this resurgent Collingwood and Carlton this afternoon. Dale Thomas, not the third grab. Scotland almost gave them something to go away with to remember. Fisher and Whitnell. And Whitnell's been paid the mark. No, Fisher's been given it.
Fisher, Whitnell and Favalva are all wet. They outmarked each other. And the bloke least likely, Fisher, has been given it.
Collingwood fans rejoice. One last kick to the booze. But it's academic. It's been Collingwood's afternoon. They had to come from 19 points down at half-time, the Magpies. But to the sounds of good old Collingwood forever, the boys in the black and white get together to celebrate what has been a stirring come-from-behind win in another big-time atmosphere game here at the G. 17-17, 119 to 14-11, 95 in front of 78,000 at the home of football.
Just reckon that, Dwayne, that their kids must be, I'll go down to Lee Colbert. Well, he looks like he's down there with one of the Port Pies players.
Yeah, Alan Didak is with Lee Colbert.
Did's a sensational game, mate, but well done yourself. A few party tricks in the last quarter.
Yeah, look, I wasn't doing too much in the game, and every time I got near the ball, I had to do something, and lucky it came off, and Trove kicked the goal, so...
Really good, but always the young fellas are coming along, aren't they? Thomas, Pendlebury, O'Brien's been sensational. Maturity's really good.
Oh, that's it. The young boys have really stepped up this year. They're leading the older guys to playing good footy, and just their spirit and their intensity around the ball has just been fantastic, and hopefully they can last out for the year.
And a bit of magic's coming back in your game, mate. 4 goals, great to see.
Yeah, it was a bit disappointing missing last week. I need a few games under my belt, but they come back and kick 4 goals. it's a good start leading into next week.
They're calling you the Croatian soccer player, mate, so we're going to work out who is the most famous, but we think you are. Well done again.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot.
Good to see Alan Didak back, coming off that knee reconstruction last year, and dizzy spells a couple of years before that, threatened to bring his career to a halt. Eddie Maguire on the boundary line, and Collingwood celebrating another victory, 17-17, 119 to Carlton, 14-11, 95. .4 victory to Collingwood over Carlton here at the MCG this afternoon, 17-17, 119 to 14-11, 95. It's the 234th time these two great teams have met. It's the most meetings of any VFL, AFL teams, and it was another magnificent spectacle. Didak with 4 goals, Cloak 3 and Rocker 2, the main contributors goal-wise for Collingwood, and for Carlton 4 goals to Brendan Favola, but those 4 goals are all in the opening half, David, and he was a bit disappointing after half-time, but Carlton tried hard, didn't they, to the death?
Well, he didn't, to be truthful, he didn't get too much good access after that, but they did close him down after having 3 tries to find the right matchup. They'd be disappointed, but the game delivered the true Carlton Collingwood spirit of the past years, and I think those who came would have walked away pretty satisfied.
Carlton's opening term was magnificent. They had a fantastic first term, 5 goals to 1, as we see the Peter Mac Cup celebrations down in the Collingwood rooms and the presentation of their medallions. It was a good start for Carlton. They had a good opening term, didn't they?
And unfortunately for Collingwood, they couldn't get their score on the board, having created the opportunities they did. I thought that might cost them, Dwayne, in the long run, but there's no doubt that the game was won by the better team, and they did all, including getting the ball through the white post at the finish.
Collingwood, we need to reassess. A lot of people wrote them off at the start of the year, but they're showing that they'll be a contender.
Oh, the old blokes are playing well, but the bunch of enthusiastic, talented kids are delivering against that. So let's hope they stand up and have got the energy to carry it out for the full 22 round. Yeah,
they've got Clement and Buckley still to come. Speaking of still to come, remaining matches for this AFL round. Tonight, the Brisbane Lions up against Adelaide. You'll catch that on Fox Sports 1. St Kilda up against Sydney. And the 2 big Fox Sports games tomorrow. Geelong and the West Coast Eagles from Skills Stadium. The Western Bulldogs also play Melbourne tomorrow afternoon at the Telstra Dome. And then the late game, Fremantle versus Hawthorn from Subiaco. So a big afternoon of football coming your way. It was a big one here at the G today. It was Collingwood in the end by 24 points.
This has been a Fox Sports presentation.